Cup. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I knew I was missing something. Probably should get on StreamYard. I was like, that's not right.
It might help.
It might help a little bit for the YouTube people to see my beautiful face.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay. Well, rude. Rude. Foul.
I mean,
to start the day.
No.
Foul.
No.
Rude.
Not a foul. Not a foul.
All right.
Because you would have done the same thing, and I would have been more mad at you had you not done the same thing.
Go Aztecs gives you a foul.
That's cool. We are the official foul trackers. You can give as many fouls at home as you want. That's fine. Only the official ones, the only ones here count.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, this is the first full week of not having the Padres, so we're going to be diving into a lot of different things. And obviously, off-season Padres talk is not great when there's still games being played. But today is going to be kind of the continuation of the post-mortem of recapping what happened this year in the Padres season. I mean, how much baseball did you watch over the weekend, Frank?
None.
I mean, it was tough to watch.
I watched the first inning of the Cubs-Brewers game only because it was on in the room I was in. I was thoroughly entertained, I will say.
How about that? Brewers get their ass handed to them. All of a sudden can't hit. All of a sudden, Matthew Boyd turns into batting practice. And by the way, Nico Horner turns into a lousy second baseman overnight.
It's almost like, the Brewers were kind of cruising the last week and a half of the year, just kind of going through the motions and not really trying,
Maybe there's something to be said about playing games at home. Teams that have played games at home have done a very good job. The only one that hadn't done very well was, I guess, the Mariners. Phillies blew a lead. That was funny. Unless you hate the Dodgers, which is most of us, so I guess it's not as funny. National League will continue tonight, and then they'll start flipping back and forth to the American League and the National League. Tigers and Mariners are tied at 1 game apiece. How about that? You didn't watch any of the bludgeoning of the New York Yankees, Frank? I mean, you watch them every single day in the regular season. You did not watch the Yankees-Blue Jays games?
I kept an eye on it. I did not watch, but I definitely kept an eye on it, and I was very, very happy.
You're not going to go back and watch it later?
I'm not that sick.
Well,
I mean, I'm sick. I'm not that demented.
I sent you the thing of
yes, you did.
Of Frank the Tank. The only time he'll probably be fired up about it. He walks in and just goes the S word. How about that? That was so fun. That sounds like a Morgan here. What's going on? It's 12-0. I've never seen Frank the Tank just be so happy out of nowhere. So anyway, the sports weekend in general, it's tough that those first couple of baseball games since being eliminated are tough to watch. They're very tough to watch because you sit there and go that could have been us, that could have not been us. I'm going to tell you right now, the way that the Cubs played against the Brewers did not give you a sense of, oh man, we could have been so much better. We could have been so much better. I think it makes it even worse that the Cubs got their ass handed to them by the Milwaukee Brewers. They got their ass handed to them. Cubs got their ass handed to them by the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, the entire time. I was watching that on the plane ride back from San Francisco, going oh, there's another run. Oh, there's another run. Oh, there's another run. And so I look at the Padres, and we're going to talk about their full season. I don't know how I missed this, by the way. Jim Rome had it. I mean, I got to step up for my guy Jake from CBS a little bit about Manny Machado's post game. Look, I get it's fresh, but he asked the question of like, how would you evaluate the season? And Manny just lost his mind. How did I miss that? I was just so enamored, probably because I was so PO'd about them losing to the Cubs and missing out on opportunities and having the bats go cold. And us talking about that awful call that they gave Xander Bogaerts and the Padres' reaction in the dugout after the game and so many of the moving parts of where the team went wrong and Yu Darvish was terrible and all this other stuff. I totally missed like all the post-game stuff. I mean, I watched that video back in the Manny Machado press conference. I'm going to ask people that said time and place. When do you want us to ask that question? I'd love to know. Somebody in the comments is like, hey, maybe you ask him that in a couple of days. Bro, do you understand where these guys go for the next 3 months, 4 months, however long it takes? They disappear. You're not going to see Manny the next day. You're not seeing Manny until he walks into the clubhouse at spring training. And then when you get to spring training, are you going to ask him about last year? Hey, how would you evaluate how last year went? You know what he's going to say? That was last year. We're focused on this year. When are you going to ask him the question? I think it's a fair question. Frank and I have to sit here and evaluate the team. We're about to do it for a whole hour. Evaluate the team. I'd love to know what the Padres players think, but apparently that's too far of a question to ask. How would you evaluate how you guys did this season? He said, we just lost. I can't believe you would ask that. Really? That's a very softball question. It's not stupid. It's not a stupid question. I would love to know what they thought of the season. We ask I have so many times we have to defend the player like, oh, they definitely care. I'd love to know. How would you evaluate? Is that a failure? I would love to know. I would love to know when you ask that question. I would love to know what's unfair about that question. What's unfair about that question? How would you evaluate the season? There is no exit interviews. They don't do that like the NFL. These guys are gone. They might be able to ask AJ Preller that question. But if you're going to ask him at spring training, I know exactly. First of all, he's going to be like, I'm not even thinking about last year. He's not even going to answer it. So when do you ask that question? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I don't get it. If you're supposed to be the guy, I mean, everybody wants to put the C on his chest. Everybody wants to put the C on his chest. You want to put a C on the guy's chest? He's answering that question. Aaron Judge is answering that question. That's not a stupid question. I thought Jake asked a very fair question in that scrum. It should have been answered. And you know what? Even if he's upset about it, he could literally be cool and be like, you know what? Didn't end the way we wanted it to. There were some, obviously some pros of the season. We played tough, but at the end of the day, we're disappointed if we don't win a World Series. That's it. It's simple. It's a simple answer. But instead, it turns into this like confrontation with Jake from CBS, who does a great job of being professional, doesn't say anything. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand where the problem is. Time and place. Buddy, when are you supposed to ask him that question? I mean, Jim Rome just crushed him the other day. It's not a stupid question. It's a very fair question to ask. I'd love to know what they would think about it. I'd love to know. Obviously, Manny's upset that they lost. Dude, I understand that your season is over and you didn't play well. I thought when I first saw that riff from Jim Rome and the way that Manny was going off, I thought the question was like, why did you... I thought, honestly, they asked about, like, how are you able to only go, like, 1 for whatever? I thought they were asking about his playoff batting average. I mean, to me, that's a little too much. That would be a stupid question. I would agree with that. I'd defend Manny in that particular sense. How would you evaluate the season is too far? I mean, for real? For real. And you wonder why, like, it's funny to me, like, apparently, that is such an easy question. Yet we still get berated all the time as media members that we're the softest media members in Major League Baseball. Even when that's like an easy question like that, apparently it ruffles too many feathers. 24-hour rule is definitely a rule, but guess what? You don't get the 24-hour rule if they're not meeting with the media the next day, which they don't do. They don't do that. If there was a post-season press conference with some of the best players on the team, 2 days later, I would argue that is when you ask that question, but there isn't. I don't understand. I don't get what was so hard about that question or so insulting about that question. I thought it came across as a bad look. And I think Manny has made some great strides in maturity here as a Padre. But I'm going to tell you right now, that was a big step back. That was a big step back. It wasn't a dumb question. The answer was a little bit like, I'm getting attacked right now. And he wasn't getting attacked. How would you evaluate the season? I mean, that's a question we ask on this show. We're all going to answer that question. It's not a stupid question. It wasn't a stupid question, and it wasn't bad timing. When they don't talk to the media ever, and when they're about to disappear until spring training, you want to ask the guy in charge of the team, the captain, the guy with the C on his chest, how would you evaluate the season? That is a fair question that they ask to every athlete across professional sports that are a captain. That's what you have to do when you're a leader. You have to answer those questions. And that's an easy one. I couldn't believe that when I saw that over the weekend. I don't know how I missed it. My apologies to all of you fans out there for me missing that and not having that on Friday's show. That's on me. I don't know how I missed that. That's a tough look, in my opinion. That's not a crazy question to ask. I mean, is that the question? Like, people always go like, well, yeah, New York, like they hold people accountable. Unlike you media members in San Diego, we get that crap all the time. Is that the difficult question people are asking? Guys, if you think that is a difficult question, I'm sorry. We just live in a fantasy world down here of sunshine and rainbows. Sunshine and rainbows all the time. I just don't get it. How would you evaluate the season? If I was Manny, as the leader, I would be like, we made the playoffs. We didn't get the job done. We are not satisfied until we win a World Series. It's simple. It's not insulting. It's a simple answer. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm too far here. Maybe I'm being too tough. I don't know. Maybe that was a stupid question. I think it's very easy. I don't know how that's a difficult question to answer when you just lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs, did not show up offensively, and just had a rough September and October to finish the season. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Maybe I'm in the wrong here. I don't know. Love to know what you guys think. We're going to evaluate how I'm going to answer that question. How about that? Frank and I will answer the question since they won't. And we'll talk about it. How would we evaluate the Padres season now that it's all said and done? We'll continue that conversation. Get your phone calls when we come back. Just getting started on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Well, not our show today, but the Padres season is over. So sorry, it's over. All guests on 97 through the Fan, join us via the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Here's the deal. Again with the man. Do you have that clip ready to go?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Let's just play it again. Let's just play it so we can hear it and then we can evaluate. But here's the deal. Before we play this clip, here's what people need to understand. This is why this guy, this is what he signed up for. When you sign the statue contract, when you become the face of the franchise, when you become the guy that needs, when you know, everybody talks about he's got to put a C on his chest and all that stuff. This is what you have to do. Somebody's like, it's very hard to do that after you lose. Yeah. You know who I don't want to talk to after I lose when I coach high school football? Anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to hear any questions. I don't want nothing. Even when my favorite sport, like when TCU loses, I want to turn my phone off. Nobody talk to me. I get that. I understand. It's not hard. Okay? I get it. I totally understand that it's difficult to do. And I'm not saying Joe Schmo in the chat can do it. But I will say this. It comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. It's not fun, but you have to do it. You have to answer those questions. And it wasn't that dumb of a question. A dumb question would have been like, why do you suck in the postseason? That would be kind of a dumb question. Question would be like, do you feel disappointed that you guys didn't get the job done? That's a stupid question. Okay? That's a stupid question. Asking about, and I want to get the exact quote right, but asking about like how everything came together, like how the season goes with the ending that it had, that's not a bad question. It's fair. I love Jim Rome's rant on it. It was great. But again, like you have to answer this stuff. You are the guy. When the Yankees get their ass kicked on tomorrow, when the Yankees get their ass handed to them tomorrow, okay? What do you think they're going to ask Aaron Judge postgame? How are you able to do this? How are you able, what happened? How would you evaluate how the season went? You guys were in the World Series last year, right? I mean, this is how you have to go about your business when you are the leader, when you are the captain. And again, I'm not yelling at the audience. People just, any type of passion, I mean, people freak out sometimes. Let's play the clip of Jake from CBS asking Manny Machado in the postgame.
I know it just ended, but how do you assess a season like this?
I mean, what type of question is that, dude? My guy. How do I assess the season? We just lost. How do you think I assess the season? How do you think I assess it?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
You tell me. What's a loss? We lost. How do you assess it? It's a loss. You lost. Come on, dude. I mean, you could ask better questions than that. Let's go. Come on.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. That seems like a different question than people were saying in the YouTube chat to defend Manny Machado. Can you play the beginning part again? Let's play the beginning part again. Let's hear Jake's question and then cut it off.
I know it just ended, but how do you assess a season like this?
How would you assess a season like this? What is so bad about that? I have to ask. Let me know. What is so bad about that? How would you assess a season like this? Off to a good start, middle road, great, roller coaster ride, made the playoffs, but just came up short. They were right there. What is so bad about that? And Manny could have just been like, well, we lost. It's not great. And he could have moved on. But no, it was the ask better questions than that. You're better at, you should ask better questions than that. That's not a dumb question. It's a very fair question, in my opinion. Guy's obviously upset that he lost. Fine. But his reaction was ridiculous. It needs to be better. I get he makes 2 steps forward, then takes a step back. He has made so much progress as a Padre. I admit that. I'm going to tell you right now, his first year in the clubhouse was just like, okay, this guy's kind of ridiculous sometimes. I think he's done a great job. And here's the other thing, too. I don't care if Manny Machado treats the media like crap. I don't really care. As long as he's good to kids and he's good to his teammates, that's all that really matters. And he's good to kids that are Padres fans, and he's good to his teammates. So as media members, we're going to have to deal with this. I thought he's gotten better in the media. And I know they just lost. But the whole back and forth on the question, you got to ask better questions than that. Come on, man. Guy's just trying to do his job. It wasn't a crazy thing. If he wants to be, if people want, and here's the thing, he doesn't even want to be, he doesn't want the leadership role. I mean, I understand that he just lost. It comes with the territory. How would you assess the season? Easy. That's not a hard question to ask. People like time and place. When he's going to ask that. What's your opinion on the matter, Frank? Am I too hard right now? Am I being too hard on it?
No, it's a fair question. I mean, again, it's one of those questions where if I know some teams do it, like I know the Mets do it, their general manager answered questions the Monday after the season, the Monday or Tuesday after the season ended. That's a question you could ask then if the team does that. That's not, the Padres don't do that. At least to my knowledge, they don't do that. I haven't heard anything about them doing that here recently. It's a fair question to ask. And I understand it's heat of the moment. You're going to get raw emotions, and that's pure disappointment. But there's no other time to ask that question other than right then. And it was at the end of the presser. So it's not like it was the first thing he asked him too.
And
that's what happens.
It was worded so carefully.
Yes.
That is worded so carefully. He didn't mention failure.
No, that was a professional answer.
He didn't mention Manny Machado's failures. They didn't mention the fact that last year they couldn't score in the playoffs. He didn't mention any of that. All he said was, how would you evaluate the season? I mean, that's what he said.
No, that was an absolutely fair question.
And I'm going to tell you right now, there's other players in the team that would have answered that question.
Yes.
Jackson Merrill would have been like, it sucks. We lost. You know, it's unfortunate that it's unfortunate that we couldn't get the job done in the playoffs, but you know what? We made it. It's great, but we want to win the World Series, and so we're going to feel like it's disappointing. It's not rocket science. And we are the easiest media in all of the country. I don't think anybody asks easier questions than San Diego. To be honest with you, find me a market that asks softer questions than we do.
You ask Xander Bogaerts that question, a guy who's been there, done that. He's won 2 World Series. You ask Xander Bogaerts that question, he gives you a 2-3 minute answer.
Yeah. I just
genuine answer.
I understand you're upset, Manny. I understand that you just lost. It comes with the territory of being one of the faces of the franchise and being the guy that people talk about. You have to answer questions. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I thought that was a bad showing. I mean, Aaron Judge gets that question. He's like, oh my God, this is easy.
The only thing I will say, not even in Manny's defense, but on Manny's side on that, is you're coming off the field after screaming at the umpires after
they're definitely wound up.
Horrifically bad call. So yeah, there was a little bit more angst, a little bit more anger in the clubhouse than there would have been on just a normal loss. They came off the field feeling like a game just got stolen from them, which fair. They absolutely did. So that's the only thing I will say, not even in Manny's defense, but in kind of understanding where the answer that he gave came from.
And he had better answers with other people about how he should have played better. But Jake didn't ask about the game. Jake asked about the season. Completely different deal. Maybe Manny misheard him. Maybe he thought it was like, how would you evaluate this game? Maybe that's what he thought it was. If we want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I do agree with Cole Brooks in the chat. There's a lot of us that have to answer stupid questions every single day. I have to answer stupid questions every single day from a lot of different things. But you know what? I don't say that's a stupid question. You just kind of have to shake it off and be better. And that's what was disappointing about that. And they will probably have a end of the season press conference, and guess who will be there? AJ Preller and Mike Schilt. Guess who will not be there? Manny Machado. He will not be there. He doesn't have, you don't get access to him all the time in the media. So when you do, you have to ask basically any question that you're going to ask for the next 5 or 6 months because you're not seeing him until he gets to Peoria. Let's say he's at an MLS playoff game, Frank. What do you think the question is going to be like? I only want to be asked about San Diego FC.
He's not good. No one's going to think to ask him anything about the Padres.
Correct. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get to a couple phone calls here. I have kind of post-mortem of the Padres season. I mean, we're gonna evaluate the season, how we evaluate the season in just a little bit. Let's get out to Brandon in El Cajon. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm okay. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. What do you got for me today?
Well, to me, this is the AJ Preller show. They kind of end this way every year. I mean, it's not even surprising, really.
What are you saying they should do?
I think they should. I think they should just tear it down and start over. You have to build a team with the farm system. This look what I can do. Trading players every year has the same result. You wind up with a bunch of people that just came together. It doesn't look like a team with no heart.
How are you going to tear it down when everybody's got a no trade clause?
Yeah, that's the problem. AJ Preller's pretty much tied their hands behind their back. It's sad. I'm a Padre fan for life, and every year it's so frustrating. They're like the Chargers were when they were here. It's break your heart every year.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, Brandon, everybody's going to have their heart broken but one team every single year. Let me ask you this question, Frank. I should have asked Brandon this question. Would you rather be the blue Padres or the brown and gold Padres?
Yeah, brown and gold seemed a lot more fun, hasn't it?
It's been way more fun. Oh, absolutely. I mean, what? Build it with the farm system. Remember when we did that? Remember the years the Padres did that? Remember the Orioles do it now, Frank? How'd the Orioles do this year? Remember?
Okay, let's be fair. Let's be fair with the Orioles. They underperformed massively. We saw last year what they can do. They underperformed massively.
Underperformed, Frank. They have no pitching. They could have traded some players for pitching, but they're holding on to everybody that they have. Our precious prospects. No. I would rather not do that. Tear it down. What are you going to tear down?
There's nothing to tear down.
There's nothing to tear down. I mean, we'll hear from Dennis Lynn talking about the guys that are not going to re-sign. But Manny's on the team. Fernando's on the team. Jackson Merrill's on the team. Xander Bogaerts is on the team. I mean, we'll see what Yu Darvish decides to do. Joe Musgrove's on the team. I mean, Jake Cronenworth's on the team. These guys are on the team for a long time. They got some young players now with Mason Miller and Freddie Fermin that are under contract on league minimum for the next 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years now. That's great news. That's where you offset some of these problems. Tear it down. What are you going to tear it down to? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Kevin and Chula Vista here on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Kevin?
No, Braden, you're right on target. So if you would have watched any of the numerous podcasts that are out there now on the Padres, I mean, Manny just shrunk 2 pant sizes after the rear end chewing he got, and it was well deserved. Remember, heavy is the head who wears the crown. And Manny has had a very, very tumultuous up and down relationship with people. He's got some issues there. That's who he is. That's what he is. He's in love with the back of his baseball card. He's lucky that people like you and I weren't in that press conference because the questions would be a lot more pointed. But so having said that, where we're at right now, since we're asking that question, you got 2 choices. You can run it back. And knowing what the results are, you're sitting in the pumpkin patch with Charlie Brown waiting for the great pumpkin. That's fine. I respect that. There's some changes that need to be made. And there's some fundamental changes that need to be made. We'll go over another time because I don't have the luxury of time here. Or, you can, one of the guys they've got to sit down with is Fernando and find out what the hell is going on with this guy in his head. Does he want to be here? I mean, seriously, there's a lot of questions that need to be asked about the basics of this dysfunctional lineup, because we've known now with the track record, it ain't working. They're not getting to the top where they want to go.
They don't, and they're continuing to kind of just tread water right now. And Kevin, I appreciate the phone call. Again, this season though, I mean this particular postseason was not on the pitching staff. I mean, the pitching staff played. The pitching staff got the job done. I think everybody was worried about the starting pitching. I think Nick Pivetta, aside, Yu Darvish was the only one that did not give you what you were expecting. But the rest of the bullpen was lights out. Nick Pivetta had 2 bad pitches. Dylan Cease was great in his last start as a Padre. The pitching was fine. I mean, the bats got to be able to play. I mean, I've seen it in the YouTube chat a couple of times. How many coaches that the Padres have had since Manny's been here and this core has been here? They've had like numerous managers, numerous hitting coaches. Eventually, the players have to get the job done. Eventually, the players have to get the job done. The front office has spent money. They have spent the money. They have spent more money than any previous ownership this organization has ever seen. They have done what they've said they were going to do. AJ Preller, I think, in the last couple of years, has assembled a team, considering what he has to work with. He has assembled teams that are good enough to win. It's now up to the players. I don't want to see any more changes to the front office. I don't want to see any more changes to the coaching staff. This is the team that they have. They need to go out and perform. And that's what's been lacking for the last couple of years since 2022 when the Padres made a run at the NLCS. The guys that they have given the big contracts to have not been able to perform at a high level in the postseason, at least in one capacity or another. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, get back to your phone calls, and we'll talk a little bit more about this 2025 season the Padres have had. Again, everybody's done their job. From ownership to the front office to the scouting department, players got to be able to do it. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, off and running here on a Monday on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:42 on a Monday. A Monday without Padres baseball. What a sad day. I don't want to talk about like off-season stuff. It's just crazy already. But we got some stuff from Dennis Lynn, who was on with the morning show, talking about pieces that might not be coming back, pieces that might come back. I mean, it's going to be, we can't really get into off-season stuff until 5 days after the conclusion of the World Series. That's when everything starts to heat up again. So hopefully, that's at the end of the month. I mean, the World Series Game 6 is on Halloween. And then 5 days after that, at the start of November, get to a little bit of a rush right before you get to the winter meetings. Winter meetings are going to be, some moves and stuff. We'll see how active the Padres are. We'll see how active the Padres are in the offseason. We'll look at the numbers and all that fun stuff. But we're kind of evaluating the first half of the season, we're evaluating the 2025 season as a whole. Talked a lot about the post-game comments of Manny Machado. Again, I got to defend my guy Jake there. The question's fair. It's got to be answered. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Obviously, the Padres need a lot of slug. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Want to get back to your phone calls, though. Let's go out to Josh in San Diego. Josh, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Hey, the way you closed the last segment, I think, says it all, right? Like, ownership's gone out. They've spent the money. AJ has been just doing everything he can to put the right guys on the field. And Manny has to perform as good as he thinks he is, because look, all of us grew up playing baseball. That's not how you play baseball. If we were all studs like him, then that's great. But the guy just thinks he's so damn good, and I'm tired of seeing it. And that permeates. It's like, put Merrill in the leadership position, and Manny needs to start busting his ass and making this thing happen. And everything else has been done. So I don't know. It's a case of the Mondays, but I think we've got a great core. Jackson Merrill takes over leadership of this ball club. And and please, I don't want to hear about getting rid of AJ. And Schulte's obviously been able to and here's another thing that hasn't been talked about much. Like, I thought AJ was terrible at the beginning at bringing in the right managers. And I think he has changed himself and how he leads by putting and empowering Schulte to run this club. And this is all about Manny and Toddy not performing. If those two perform with everything else that's been done, then we have a shot at winning. But if they don't, this is what we get.
Yeah, it's well said, Josh. Couldn't have said it better myself. Ownership has spent the money. People that say we got to spend more, No. They wrote the checks, and AJ Preller's gotten the talent. I mean, you either believe in the guys that you sign long term or you don't, but they have to play. They have to perform. Mike Schulte is who Mike Schulte is. All right, is he annoying sometimes in the media? Is his press conferences major eyewash? Yeah, I would say so. But guess what? He gets players to play hard for him. The guy wins 90 games almost every single year. 90-win Mike did it again this year. In 2 years as manager for the San Diego Padres, he's made the playoffs, and they've won over 90 games. Look at his resume. He's like Signetti at Indiana. Look me up. I win. He does. He wins. Hasn't won a World Series yet, but you know what? As much of him being a pain to the media has been, And it is. Because sometimes he doesn't answer questions like the way you probably should. But you know what? I don't really care what he does in the media. Guys play hard for him. That's all that matters. They can win with Mike Schilt. They don't need to get rid of Mike Schilt. They don't need to get rid of AJ Preller. It's not like they really have to spend a lot more money than they already. They're already top 10 in payroll. If they stay in the top half of payroll in Major League Baseball, they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. They are putting an effort forward. We have asked for ownerships in San Diego to be what this ownership is. Asked for years. You don't even have to win. You just have to try. That's how much San Diego wants a winner so bad. Don't even have to win. They haven't won a single championship. But you know what? The ownership tries. They write checks. They spend money. You can't be mad at that. Their job is to write the checks. They've been doing it. The Seidler family they've wrote checks. Eric Grubner has made Petco Park the place to be. He's made it fun and entertaining. They have filled out the rest of the year when it's not baseball season. I mean, that's what basically his job is. Ownership's done their job. Grubner's done his job. AJ Preller has used the money and has acquired good players. He's done his job. Mike Schilt has done his job. The only ones that haven't done their jobs yet are the players. That's it. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to the players. The players have to play, and they failed to do so the last two playoffs in terms of scoring runs in the postseason. I thought some of the guys were good. I thought Xander Bogaerts had a good year. He missed some time. But ever since everybody wanted to cut him, his second half of the season was great. Despite missing a month, he looked good in the postseason. Jackson Merrill, stud. It's funny that Josh brought up like Jackson Merrill should be leading this team. I would agree with that. It's funny to me, like when I coach and coaching high school football, it's interesting to see the kids and how they and what ones they follow compared to which ones that if I was a player, I would follow. You don't have to be the best player on the team to be the leader. You don't have to be the highest paid player on the team to be the leader. You don't have to be the guy with the biggest ego on the team to be a leader. I think Joe Musgrove does a good job of leading as much as he can, being a starting pitcher and also, missing the entire season. He's a guy that I would totally follow. Jackson Merrill, I love his attitude. That guy wants to win. That guy probably could have held out for more money. He is a player that wants to win. And I think in this day and age of sports, I don't think the players don't want to win. They obviously want to win. But I'm starting to realize, and it's at the youth level, and it's at the high school level, and it's definitely at the college level, and you see it in the pro level. A lot of players are focused on their personal accolades more than the team winning games. I told you about that high school football player that was mouthing off against us a couple of weeks ago saying, I don't care if we win, I got 200 yards on you. I mean, that's the epitome of the attitude of players right now. I don't care if we win, I have 200 yards. It's funny, I saw a clip on social media, one of the podcasts, I think it's one of the Talking Whatever podcasts. And I think it's AJ Brzezinski. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was talking about how hard it is to build an offense as a team now in Major League Baseball, as they were talking to what's the Mets manager?
Carlos Mendoza, who is on a list that Frank has written in front of him that is on a do not want to be on this list. But they were talking to Mendoza about how difficult it is to manage teams right now because agents are in the ears of all these guys about you need to walk, you need to hit home runs, and we don't care about strikeouts. That's what teams are paying for. That's what you got to pay. That's what you got to play for to get paid. We got to get paid. And players are more focused on the home runs and the walks. And then the other thing, they said they can't even get guys to steal anymore because agents are in the players' ears talking about how if he gets thrown out, it's going to hurt your steal percentage,
your stolen base percentage, and they're going to get you an arbitration. I mean, that's everything about sports. It's a business, right? I don't necessarily know if that's right or wrong, but that's the way that we have made sports professionally. And these guys are worried about that a lot more than they are about like just hoping to like do whatever it takes to win for the team. It's kind of sad that that's what we have, but we've created that as a society. We've created that. That's not a player's problem. Like, oh, I can't believe they're acting so selfish. We've created that. We've created that environment. We've created that environment. So you wonder why some players are like that. You know who's not like that? Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill's not like that. That's why he's such a breath of fresh air. Seeing him play, go out there and compete, losing bothers him. He took less money to stay here. He took the money that he's like, this is enough for me. I want to go out there and win. That's what you love to see. But I do think for everybody that's saying like Jackson Merrill should be the leader of this team, I don't know why we have to pick leaders as fans. They could pick it themselves. But I will say this. I think it's a tough task to ask a guy who's going to be, 23 next year, Frank? Is he 23? I think he's 22 this year. Who? Jackson Merrill?
Hold on.
Regardless, it's hard to ask a young 20-something to take over as a leader when you have veterans that have been there and done that before.
He's 22 now.
So he's going to be 23 next year. And maybe he fits in more of a player like that because he's got his contract now. Maybe that's the case. But the guys that got paid the most got to step up the most. That's part of the territory. That's what you're hoping for when you built a roster like this. It's a way to win, but they have to be able to perform. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We got a little bit of time left. Let's get to Frank in Chula Vista. Frank, what's going on?
Hey, Braden. I'm driving. I pulled over, so I'm going to just make my comment and hang up. But I agree with you 100%. Manny acted like a jerk, but it wasn't surprising. What I really would have liked him to say, or one of the Padres to say, is thank you to the fans who did show up all year long. And I haven't heard that from anybody. And that's my 2 cents. And thanks for the show.
Appreciate it, Frank. I think some of them did, Frank. I think I heard some of them thanking the fans. I don't know of everybody. I can't speak for everybody and see all of them, but I think a lot of the players acknowledge the fact that the fans were great. I think a lot of them were disappointed that they couldn't bring it back to San Diego to feed off the crowd. I mean, that's kind of a shame. That's really the biggest shame is that the players, we could not have one of our biggest assets and playing at home. And that's not a Major League Baseball thing. That's a Padres problem. They had opportunities in September to do that, and they failed to do so. Team's got a good core. They could build off of it. It doesn't need to be high expensive payments. But here's the other thing. This is what cracks me up about these articles. Like Kevin Acee had one about, what the Padres are doing in payroll and how much money they're going to spend. I mean, with inflation and everybody's contracts going up and the cost of doing business being what it is, I mean, to say that they're going to spend under $190 million, I mean, that's going to be like near the middle to bottom of the payroll. I mean, you either keep up with the rest of Major League Baseball or you can't. I don't find that being the case. We'll get back to your phone calls. We'll talk more about the Padres and how the season went, plus some of the news and notes from Dennis Lin earlier today. All guests on 97 to the Fan, join us via the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys, helping clients regain control. Since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Braden Surprenant, 11 a.m. hour, second hour of the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to talk more football later on in the show. Trying to recap the Padres season today, kind of the post-mortem, if you will. Spent a lot of time in the first hour about the, Manny Machado post-game press conference after getting eliminated from the playoffs. That was all over the news over the weekend. We missed it on Friday. I mean, we were just so into the, missed call on the Bogarts thing and the Padres not scoring any runs on their own and a lot of different things. So we'll talk more about, some of those things when we move on. But we do want to recap, kind of talk about the season a little bit, and we'll get to that, but we want to get back to your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Manny in San Diego. Manny, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Hey, Braden. Thanks for taking the call. I just think that people get too emotional about stuff that, in the scope of life, it's great to have entertainment, and they entertain us a heck of a lot, and we have to realize they're human beings. They can only have so much capability. They're getting paid big bucks, and they're going to get criticized for it. But the sky is not falling. We're way better than 26 other teams in the rest of the league. And so I think that we need to just take a chill pill. We do live in San Diego, and we can really enjoy a lot more than just baseball.
Well, I appreciate the phone call, Manny. Yeah, I mean, you look at it like that if you want to. Makes for boring sports talk radio, though, Frank. If you don't. But yeah, I don't think anybody's losing that much sleep over it. But anyway, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Try to get more of your phone calls as we go on. That means more talk about food. That's a good point. What did I have? I had sushi yesterday. That was pretty good stuff. Fresh wasabi. Must play every single time. Might be too spicy for you, Frank. You ever dabble in sushi? Can't say that you do?
No,
not fish, not too much for you?
I'm not a fan. I have, though.
If you're going to have sushi, you got to have it with Sam. That's what's it's in his name, as Nate puts out. I kind of agree with Diesel a little bit in the chat. I mean, it's just, I don't know what you want me to say. I don't think anybody's really viewing it like that too much. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. James in Escondido, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, James?
Hey, two quick questions for you. First, what was the bumper music you played at 9 o'clock? That was really cool.
All right. I'll think about it.
And two, I think Manny Machado and Tatis have the same holes in their swing patterns. So if you can get one out, you can get the other out. I think next year they should at least bat 2 batters apart.
All right. Appreciate the phone call, James. Did you hear what time he was asking for? I couldn't hear.
No, it kind of cut out.
It cut out. We got a lot of good music on this show. All right, Frank, let's talk about this season. First half of the season, the Padres went 52-44. Unthinkable 7-0 opening homestand. I think, did that set up unrealistic expectations for this team?
You think, huh?
Yeah, might have been. Because we were trying to talk people off the ledge for more than half the season that they weren't going to be this world beater team when they started the season 7-0 and swept Atlanta, who obviously is not very good. So, probably part of the problem. 15-5 through the first 20 games of the season. Machado was on a tear. Nick Pivetta showing that Frank didn't know what he was talking about signing Nick Pivetta.
Okay.
You're going to say it next year when he gets shelled, right, but too early. What a waste of a contract this guy is.
What I said again was...
We're throwing you to the bus now.
He was a great signing for $1 million, but at $20 million next year, is it going to be the same? That's all I said.
Except for the fact that you're probably not going to get a lot of different players back. Obviously, a lot of issues with the starting rotation at the beginning part of the year, too, because Dylan Cease started to turn into well, maybe he's off to a slow start. And then it was, nope, this is just what he's going to be.
Well,
we saw that there were signs. We missed the signs. We just went right through the signs.
Sign everywhere, a sign.
Michael King got injured in the first half of the season. I mean, he ended up missing more than half the season. Estrada, Morejon, Adam, and Suarez were just single-handedly winning games for the Padres, it seemed like. I mean, there was a couple of times in the first half of the season, and I remember correctly when I was in Italy looking at the game, like, how are we winning games right now? I remember asking that question. We went from a 14-3 start in which everybody thought it was World Series easy to, at a point in late May, early June, I asked the question when I would wake up in Italy to the Padres score, I'd be like, what's
How?
that meme where the guy's like half asleep looking at his phone? And I would be like, how are they winning games? It didn't make any sense because they weren't hitting, and that seemed to be a problem the entire season. And the starting pitching wasn't that great, but the bullpen was just carrying the team in the first half of the season. We talked about Jackson Merrill maybe being an MVP candidate at the beginning of the year. He got met. What an injury-prone sophomore year for Jackson Merrill, Frank.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a sophomore slump for him. It was the injury bug.
Yeah, I agree.
That bit him. Like, he didn't have a bad year, all things considered. It wasn't like a sophomore slump year where he hit like 230. He just stop, couldn't get any sort of momentum going. And the second you thought, okay, well, maybe we can ride now, he got hurt again.
Gavin Sheets was a nice little addition. He continued what he did in spring training throughout the entire season. A guy that I didn't even think was going to make the team. I didn't think he was going to make the team. But he went out there and showed out. He balled out. Another great find by A.J. Preller. Look, he's going to miss, right? He missed on Hayward and Maldonado and Yuli Gurriel, right? I mean, those are all guys that were just throwing to see if anything sticks to the wall.
Speaking of throwing and waiting to see if it sticks, wait until we go over the left fielder list here in a second.
Oh, my God. I thought Gavin Sheets, who was not going to make the team, ended up being a kind of an MVP candidate for the Padres season. I mean, he was a major pickup for the Padres throughout the entire year, Gavin Sheets.
Yes.
No more comments on that, I guess.
No, he was absolutely fantastic. He was a crucial part to this team, and the Padres would not have been where they were without the surprise that Gavin Sheets was.
Xander Bogaerts was off to an awful start. People wanted him cut. We had to sit there and defend him the entire first half of the season, which is just exhausting.
Firmly on the struggle bus.
He was not doing well. But he had the metrics to turn it around, and man, did he turn things around. Fernando is, you started to see that he got off to a great start, right? Remember in spring training, it's the best I've ever felt. We thought he was going to have just a stupid year.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, after the first 2 weeks, it started to go downhill, and you could tell he was dealing with something that wasn't on the field.
Yeah, to take a wrestling term, you could tell he lost his smile.
Yeah, he did.
Little bit. He was not himself this year, and especially forget about on the offensive side of the field. On the defensive side of the field, he was as good, if not better than ever, out in right field. But when it came to offense, when it came to personality, when it came to bringing energy, he was not himself this year at all.
No, it was not. Statistically, wasn't that bad of a year.
Right.
He was okay. I mean, it was a solid year, but it wasn't a Fernando season, and you didn't get to have that energy and that positive. He wasn't fun to watch.
No, he lost his smile. He lost his energy. He lost his personality.
And I don't think it's just him batting leadoff or his
approach.
approach.
I don't think it had anything to do with that.
I don't think that's, because people are like, we got to bat him third or fourth because, now he's going to be able to, because that's the reason why he's not playing. No, that's not the reason. He's obviously, there's a lot of things that he needs to get figured out going into next year. I mean, he was not as fun to watch. Bergert and Kolek showed a lot of muscle throughout the year. The beginning part, they looked like they could be serviceable for the Padres, and they were.
Yeah. How about that for saving the back end of the rotation? You leaned on them a lot with Michael King being out, with you Darvish not looking like he was going to come back anytime soon. You leaned on a lot of those back end of the rotation guys a lot, and those two really held, especially for Stephen Kolek, who's a Rule 5 reliever last year, to stretch him out, make him a starter. They did fantastic in their roles this year.
Then you flipped him for Freddie Fermin.
Yeah.
Who had a great time with the Padres, I thought. But you look at, again, with Bergert and Kolek at the beginning of the season, this is what we can't go into the season with Bergert and Kolek in the back end of the rotation, and then you got to like the second half of the season. Where is Bergert and Kolek? Why did we trade these guys? Oh my God. It's going to be like that next year. Watch, clockwork. You see next year when they're putting the roster together, I can't believe we're going into the season with only 2 starting pitchers. These guys are not going to be able to get the job done. Then they'll get the job done, and guess what? Then they'll get traded. And then people are, where the hell is Sun?
It's almost like a cycle that happens every year, you know?
Unbelievable. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. Right, but just too early. Gavin Sheets, Jason, I'll let you go through it. Want to tell me who played left field, Frank, for the Padres in the first half of the season?
There were more than I thought, and there were more than I remember.
Is it more than the Cleveland Browns quarterback jersey?
You're close. Gavin Sheets.
Okay.
Jason Hayward.
All right.
Oscar Gonzalez.
I forgot
he was here for a week.
He got sent. He signed in Japan.
Yep.
After the Oaklamento series.
Tirso Ornelas was here for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Not much more. Brandon Lockridge.
Still playing,
of course. Trenton Brooks. Connor Joe.
Remember that? That's another player.
He was here.
He signed $1 million major league contract.
I knew he signed a deal. And I knew he didn't make the major league roster. And I knew he got traded. I believe it was to Cincinnati. I forgot that they actually did call him up. Completely forgot about that.
He played like what? He had like 9 at-bats?
Something like that.
He didn't get a single hit in a Padres uniform.
Tyler Wade did play in left field.
That's right.
Jose Iglesias got some time in left field this year. And Bryce Johnson all played left field for this team in the first half of the season.
Sheets, Hayward, Gonzalez, Ornelas, Lockridge, Brooks, Joe, Wade, Iglesias, Johnson. 10. You had 10 different left fielders in the first half of the Padres season.
You had a full team play left field for you this year.
Well, I guess that's part of the problem. You said the positives too of the first half. You said Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Jason Adam, Robert Suarez, and Adrian Morejon to the All-Star game.
Yes, absolutely.
Pretty impressive.
Incredible job by all of them. Some of them were not first votes, but they made it there either way.
And you thought everything was going to cruise in the first half after the first half of the season because you're thinking about the second half of the season and how much better the Padres usually play in the second half of the season, or at least how good Mike Schilt's teams play in the second half of the season. And you go into a second half of the season and you go 10 games above 500, slightly different than what you had in the first season. I think a lot of people thought with the schedule that they had that they were going to do a lot better in the second half of the season they did in the first half. And that's where the kind of the beginning of the worry and beginning of the end really started to mount for the San Diego Padres. When we come back, we will talk about the second half of the season as we this is the last day we're going to do this, talk about the 2025 San Diego Padres season, the ups, the downs, just recap the first half. Let's talk about the second half of the season when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're getting to some football in the noon hour. It's football season. Unfortunately, for a lot of Padres fans, it's football season earlier than you would expect. I watched college football all day on Saturday. I loved it. It was great. I reignited my relationship with my couch. I haven't had a relationship with my couch the last handful of weeks. I've missed my couch.
Phrasing?
I said what I said. Couch, Saturday, college football, not leaving said couch all day. Now, we were flying back from De La Salle. Lost to De La Salle over the weekend. They're a good football team. The reason why they're 19 in the country. Lost 35-14. Two late scores, or two scores in which we had to deal with. What's it called? We gave them the ball inside our own 20-yard line twice and trying to go for it, and some things not really working out for us. So score is a little bit different than we expected. I will say this. We talked about this, right, Frank? The kicker situation. I got a new kicker. We got a kicker because our other kicker got hurt, and so we had to recruit one from the soccer team. How about this by the way? So this is his first week with the team. The first 2 to 3 days he's not at practice because he's got to get his clearance card and all this other stuff, right? He's got to get eligible to play. The soccer coach at Cathedral kicked at Miami. He was a kicker at Miami. So it works out that he's kind of helping him out. So our guy Carson did a great job kicking on kickoffs. He came in to really do the kickoffs because we were having some issues with kickoffs. Pre-game, our punter goes, I can't go. He doesn't feel right. So then we decide to go with a different player. Then that player got hurt. And so now I have to feed to the wolves this soccer player for a punt. And guess what situation he gets the punt in, Frank?
What situation would that be?
His first ever high school punt for a kid that's never punted before, football-wise, is playing at De La Salle, who's the number 19 team in the country, who's such a good program. They have a movie on them for when the game stands tall. It's about De La Salle football. Mm-hmm. So that's how prominent of a team that they are, right? So at De La Salle, their student section's in the end zone. They have big bleachers in the end zone. It's third down. Our backup quarterback is in at this point in time. Snap gets snapped over his head. And so instead of punting from our own 20 on fourth down, he runs it down, jumps on the ball at our 4-yard line. So in the end zone of the student section. Mm-hmm. So we send out the soccer player who has never kicked before, never punted before football. And this student section, they have, it's an all boys school. It's like Saints, right? So Saints and all-P. So they have a combo there at games. They're on the field screaming right behind our kicker, who's got a punt in his own end zone against the number 19 team in the country. Got the punt off. It's great. He actually did a really good job, but he was able to get the kick off, which was the best part. I literally told him before, I'm like, I just get the kick off. I don't really care how far it goes. It didn't go very far, but you know what? He got the job done. After the game, he was upset. He thought he could have punted better. I'm like, we just threw you to the wolves, and you survived.
Just be happy you lived.
I know, right? And I'm like, he's probably sitting there going, what did I sign up for? He's like, hey, yep, you're going to have to punt. Go ahead. Good luck, buddy. So, yeah, exactly. We'll get him some more reps this week. He's a good, you know what? He's a soccer player, but he's got a hell of a leg. Like, he might be able to kick at the D1 level. Just a slight tweaking on actually being able to kick with form. So that happened over the weekend. It was the trip wasn't very good. We had one serious play, for one of our kids. So please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's doing a lot better. He's doing fine. He came back yesterday, which is great. Very scary injury, a scary injury that I have never seen at the high school level, and I don't even want to talk. It was just not great. I told Frank off the air, but it was not good. One of my guys, I was in tears on the sidelines. And I had to regroup. There was 5 minutes left in the game. I can't believe we finished the game, to be honest with you. Paramedic came out. Big hats off to the trainers at De La Salle and Cathedral and the first responders and everything like that. It was a lower leg situation, but he's going to be okay, which is the best part. So it was tough to see that. And the kid was in great spirits, which is the best. I mean, the kids are resilient. But that was it was a tough weekend trip, to say the least. But then I reignited my relationship with the couch. I got to watch some football on the plane ride out of there. I ordered Jersey Mike's. I sat on my couch the entire day and I watched college football. And it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I was screaming at the television during the entire TCU Colorado game. TCU played like absolute ass. I'm going to be buck. They were ass. Backdoor cover on 4th down, though. Under 2 minutes to go. Threw a fade to the end zone, Frank. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Backdoor cover by the Frogs. Sending Dion packing. We'll take the dub. Kansas State this week. Ron and LaMesa's Kansas State in a place that we never do well, but we're favored somehow. We'll talk about college football later on. I do want to get back to your phone calls. Alan in Imperial Beach, Ron in San Diego. Let's get to Alan in Imperial Beach. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Hey, good morning. So I wanted to talk about how it's been underestimated how bad Laureano's injury was. I mean, he was doing great. And our replacement plan was the 3 straight lefties. When we went into that last game, they should have benched Crone and put in Iglesias. So they had a right-handed hitter. He could play left field. He could play second base. He could play wherever. And it just would have broke things up. He was kind of hot towards the end. And, Crone's a great player. Love him. But he was over. And you just he wasn't doing it. And them bringing in a lefty just crippled us on numerous occasions where we had, men on base.
Laureano injury was definitely huge, Alan. I agree with you. I mean, that was more. I thought the Padres were going to be able to maybe survive that, but they obviously were not able to do so. I mean, you have him batting 7th or anywhere down there. It breaks it up a little bit. I don't understand why they didn't pinch hit Cronenworth either. I don't understand. Cronenworth was terrible in the postseason. I mean, defensively he was okay, but offensively he was terrible. He was not good. And the pinch hit for Gavin Sheets, who at any point in time can lose a ball and hit a home run, instead of pinch hitting for the guy next up in the order, and Jake Cronenworth, where you could have had Iglesias play second base after the fact, was definitely a head-scratching move. But it wasn't about the bottom 3 guys in the lineup. I mean, Freddie Fermin did a good job. I don't know why. They could have had Freddie Fermin bat 8th, had Cronenworth bat 9th. He's like a second leadoff anyway because he usually grinds out at bats and works walks. Freddie Fermin, I thought, played his ass off during the series. But it wasn't the bottom of the order. The top 3 guys in the order didn't get the job done at all. What were they, 3 for 40-something? Off the top of my head? I mean, Manny had the 1 home run, which saved the day in game 2. And Fernando didn't do anything, and Arias didn't do anything. That was it. Top of the order did not get the job done. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Sam says, raise your hand if your college football team's 4-1. I'm going to raise my hand. Frank, why aren't you raising? Oh, that was...
There's reasons.
That was so bad. Perez and Mike went to that game. And Dennis.
I feel sorry for them.
That was probably the roughest ride home from LA they've ever had. That had to be worse than driving home from Vegas after you lose like $1,000 or maybe more. I don't know. I'm not a degenerate. I'm not a gambler as much as a lot of other people are. That was rough. That was rough.
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin was at the La Costa Canyon Mission Hills game on Friday.
Almost like he should have been somewhere else.
You're acting like they don't recruit on Fridays anyway.
No, I'm just saying. It's almost like he should have been somewhere else.
Oh,
Paying
maybe.
attention instead of overlooking their opponent.
I don't know if they overlooked their opponent. UCLA punched him in the mouth. Onside kicks. I thought when Penn State blocked the punt, things were getting flipped. I tell you what, you know what? The older gentleman that watched Penn State, they go, Jopo would have never lost a game like that. Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Who are you going to go get? That's not James Franklin. By the way, you got to pay him $54 million for him to go away. $54 million. That's crazy. Dab on Frank if your team is 4-1. Bang. Dab. 4-1 Frogs.
He draws the foul.
I love it, Juan. That's great. Dab on Frank if your team's 4-1. Dabbing emoji.
So
amazing. Amazing.
I think it was Annie Agar, I believe, if that's how you pronounce her last name.
Sure, sounds good.
I saw her on Twitter post what was, I think, the objectively correct way to look at that game, which was James Franklin got tired of hearing everyone say that he can't win a big game.
Oh, I saw that.
So he just decided to not win a small game either, which is that's like a 10D chess play right there. So instead of not winning a big game, he decided to just, not win.
Dab on Frank if your team's 4-1. Brenton Ford, Arizona Wildcat, 4-1. San Diego State Aztecs, 4-1. TCU Horned Frogs, 4-1. I think Tennessee Volunteers are 4-1, if I'm not mistaken. They've only lost one game. Bang, hit the dab.
We're just going to go through every 4-1 team right now? Is that
just the ones that I have some affiliations with? That's all of them. I'm done now. All of my teams are 4-1. But you know what? Probably ending very shortly. I feel bad. I wanted to say my buddy was not. He was. Mike was in a bad spot. He was in a bad place. He's still in a bad place.
Can we also just say, by the way, the rushing of the field.
Go Aztecs! Put it out there on Twitter.
Yeah, the rushing of the field. I think that's
so overplayed.
I think that's done now.
It's not cool anymore.
When you have 5 people, quote unquote, storm the field at UCLA, I think it's over. And as you said off air during the show, before the show, they should probably get fined double for that.
I agree.
Because that's one.
At least make it look cool.
The fine is because you look stupid.
Yes.
That was even dumber. You had 5 people storm the field. Like,
we've done the rules of fandom. I have rules of storming the field. But I feel like every kid now just wants to post on social media.
Exactly,
so they just run out there for every single win. It looks stupid. It looks stupid.
Everyone wants to be the main character.
It looks stupid. You know what else looks stupid? Bat flips look stupid now. They're overplayed. Storming the field is overplayed. And I had another one that was overplayed too.
When you have big gaming companies highlighting, we've added bat flips. We've added the gritty. We've added storming the field into their video games. It's over.
It's not cool anymore.
It's done.
It's forced. You know what? Like the wave. Doing the wave.
Yes.
Oh, it's stupid.
The wave is not, folks, and I see it all the time at Petco, and it drives me nuts. The wave is not cool. The wave is a sign of boredom that you're trying to do something to entertain yourself. It is an indictment of the product on the field. The wave is not cool. It is a show of boredom.
Funny that UCLA was celebrating Neuheisel as the offensive coordinator over interim head coach. Makes sense. Derek and La Mesa. Are you gonna dance on the grave here of Penn State? What's going on, Derek?
Nah, man. You know what? I tried to get in last week on Friday. I was trying to be respectful of the Padre talk, so I waited until Friday, and I just couldn't get in. And I wasn't going to call to gloat to Frank because Frank by the way, I was in the stands at the Rose Bowl last year
Mhm.
when Ohio State dropped 35 on my Ducks in about 8 minutes. So I wasn't going to do that. That was a fantastic football game. Unbelievable. I really upset at the officials for missing the targeting call. That was awful. I'm sure you watched.
Yes.
I know you didn't go to a soccer game, so that
No,
was
I did not.
just absolutely atrocious, that targeting non-call. But and I'm not going to dance on your grave, Frank, but oh my goodness, UCLA. I mean, they are one of the worst football teams in the country. So, I mean, Penn State fan has to be calling for his head. They have to be. I mean, right?
Calling for it
54
after.
million, did you say,
Calling
Braden?
for it after Oregon.
The buyout's $54 million. Yes.
Gosh, how in the world do you enter into a contract like that? I mean, good for James Franklin. That's amazing. But holy cow. I mean, you just can't have that much talent. The Oregon game is one thing, right? Oregon's got a lot of talent. They got a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. It was a fantastic football game. On the edge of my seat. You just can't lose to UCLA. I mean, that's terrible.
It is terrible. It's terrible. That's a terrible loss.
Yeah.
That's a terrible loss.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough. He was in a bad spot the whole time.
And as far as the why would you go into a contract like that if you're Penn State? Number one, you're an idiot for offering that much money in the first place to a coach, especially on a buyout. You're an idiot for offering that much money. However, the dumber party is the person who doesn't take it. Because if they're willing to give you that much money, you're stupid for not taking it.
My question is all the time, and it's not a Penn State show. We're gonna get back to Padres baseball in a second. Who are you gonna get that's better than James Franklin right now? Who are you gonna get? Because you have to pay him $54 million to go away, and then you're gonna have to give a new guy a ton of money with another gigantic buyout. The knee-jerk reactions from college fans because they think they got to win the champ. I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna do? By the way, when are people going to talk about Sarkisian like they're talking about James Franklin? Sarkisian can't beat anybody good either. He's not good in big games. Hasn't been. Single-handedly keeping Billy Napier's job alive at Florida this weekend. Arch Manning, by the way, ain't it. Trash.
You know, drafting Jackson Dart's
terrible.
Drafting Jackson Dart's looking a little bit better every single time Texas plays.
Yes.
Not going to lie.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We're going to talk about the second half of the Padres season and get to the sports thread when we come back. Horns down. 11:43 on a Monday morning, almost Monday afternoon. We get to the noon hour. We can talk about food again. We haven't. I mean, when you get to Padre playoff time, the food talk kind of went away a little bit. What is the best thing you had to eat this weekend?
I really didn't eat much this weekend. I was engrossed in trying to get things organized and set up back to kind of normal again.
Back to non-Padre time?
Yeah, and again, with me not being able to feel hungry, I barely ate at all this week.
That's not fun for the bit, dude. You could have made something up.
I could have, but I want to be honest with the audience. I'm a truthful guy.
We're a fair show.
I don't want to mislead you.
We keep it real.
Exactly.
I almost got Hawaiian barbecue the other day. It's funny that Go Aztecs put that on. I was almost looking at that. In these eating on these trips, we went to I got a chicken cutlet sandwich at the place we went to.
Oh boy.
We went to this place called Rocco's up in the Walnut Creek area. So Rocco's is a place, apparently they get every team that comes in from out of town. They'll do their pregame meal, and then De La Salle goes there for their postgame meals. It's been there for 40 years. I actually got to meet Rocco. It was great. The guy that owns the place.
Nice.
They had a chicken cutlet sandwich. I had to get it. The thing that was interesting, though, was it came with two sides. One of them was pasta salad. You could have got pasta salad, minestrone soup, or penne. And I'm like, what's with the penne? There's no, I was like, it came with a sauce, so I got two pastas on the side with the chicken cutlet sandwich. Now, I will say, I feel like the chicken cutlet sandwich needed some sauce on it. It didn't come in a roll. It came on I don't know what type of bread it was. It was bread, chicken cutlet, lettuce, tomato. And then it came with a side of marinara sauce.
Oh,
I feel like vodka sauce would have been better. I feel like you could have done buffalo sauce, and had a buffalo chicken cutlet sandwich. I mean, there's a lot of things you could have done with the chicken cutlet sandwich. Frank wants to vomit right now. What do we got? Pasta salad was good, Sam. The pasta salad was good.
No, it's just
you look like
if you're gonna do
your
it,
soul left your body.
You're doing a chicken cutlet sandwich with the sauce on the side.
Yeah, I don't know why they did
What's
that.
the point of that?
I agree.
Just have the chicken cutlet then. And if you're gonna do it with lettuce and stuff, then it's a buffalo chicken cutlet sandwich.
Yeah, you could have put buffalo sauce on there. There would have been cheese. Would have been nice. You could have put some fresh mozzarella on there. Mozz, provolone.
God, some people stracciatella. Restaurants.
I was like, really? Northern Italians. I just can't do it. They had polenta on the menu. That's fun. The sauce was okay. It was okay. I can't. I've told you this. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have sauce at restaurants.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because it's not better than mine. It's not better than the families. It will never be better than the families. If there's a place where I get red sauce there, that means that place is approved. Because I don't get red sauce at a lot of places. God, you look like you're so pissed off right now.
No, it's just it's confusion. It's not even anger. It's confusion.
100% agree. 100% agree. We don't have too much time, so we should probably get to our sports thread. That will sound a little bit different tomorrow.
Yeah, it will.
Let's get to it.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on in the sports world that doesn't involve chicken cutlet sandwiches or the San Diego Padres?
We've got a lot actually going on, but I have a feeling that we're going to stay on one story here for most of this, and that is
number 1.
Have you seen the insanity that has gone on with Mark Sanchez this weekend?
Okay, so here's what I know about the Mark Sanchez deal. You're going to have to inform me a lot of stuff. So this is what I know. As I'm boarding the plane in Oakland to fly back to San Diego, I see the Mark Sanchez has been hospitalized. He has been stabbed. And I was like, oh, my God, what's going on in Indianapolis? This is crazy. This is terrible. I hope he recovers. Everybody's like, great guy. Hope he recovers, all this other stuff. I land. And then all of a sudden he's like, Mark Sanchez is being arrested for like disorderly conduct and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what is happening? So I don't know what happened. All I know is he was stabbed. He went to the hospital, and now he got arrested. So I don't know what he did to get stabbed. I don't know what he did to the other guy. I don't know what he's being charged with. Please fill me in on what in the world Mark Sanchez did over the weekend.
Mark Sanchez got stabbed and arrested for it. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez is facing a felony battery charge.
Nice. Over
an altercation between the former NFL quarterback and a 69-year-old truck driver early Saturday morning in Indianapolis. Marion County prosecutor Ryan Mears announced the upgraded charge this morning, saying that Sanchez faces a level 5 felony charge for battery, quote, involving serious bodily injury. Punishment can range from 1 to 6 years in prison, according to the Marion County prosecutor. Mears has said his office received an amended probable cause affidavit on Monday. On Sunday, Sanchez was charged with battery with injury, public intoxication, and unlawful entry of a vehicle, all misdemeanors. Sanchez has been scheduled for a court hearing tomorrow on the original charges, but that was rescheduled to November 4th. Sanchez remains hospitalized and was listed in stable condition Monday morning. According to an affidavit for probable cause based on hotel video footage of the altercation early Saturday morning and statements by the police, Sanchez allegedly accosted the driver of a box truck that backed into the hotel's loading dock. So,
what happened?
So Sanchez got mad that somebody, he had to have been drunk. I mean, obviously, he's charged with public intoxication.
Yeah, that kind of means you're drunk.
So a drunk Mark Sanchez got mad at a box truck driver he did not hire for damaging property he did not own.
All right. Yeah, it says he allegedly approached the truck driver at a nearby hotel loading dock, according to the court affidavit. Truck driver, identified in court documents only as PT, was working for a company that recycles used cooking oil at the time of the incident. Sanchez allegedly told the driver he and his truck couldn't be at that loading dock before, quote, video shows Mark Sanchez grabbing and throwing PT towards the wall of the Westin. PT realized things had escalated and he was now in physical danger, so he reached into his pocket and grabbed his pepper spray and sprayed Mark Sanchez in the face. The pepper spray appeared to affect Sanchez briefly, but he eventually wiped his face and allegedly advanced towards the victim again. PT told police he feared the one-time player was trying to kill him, leading to the stabbing. Quote, we are literally talking about people fighting over a parking space and or a dispute about where people are parking, and it resulted in someone receiving just an incredibly significant injuries, Mears said on Monday. That's insane. Yeah, so that's what happened.
He got mad.
He pulled a Karen.
Yes, he was being a drunk. He was being a drunk male Karen.
It doesn't. Nothing affects him. He's like, you can't park here. He doesn't work at the Westin. And in doing so, he decides to. He reaches into. He grabs the guy and throws him against the wall. Guy sprays him with pepper spray. Like, get away. That wasn't enough for Mark Sanchez. He goes after him again, and he gets stabbed. I mean, what? What are you doing? Seriously, I like that. I mean, if you're Fox Sports, you're like, what? He did what? He did what? I mean, not even the wolf from Pulp Fiction can fix this problem. What is he doing? Bro, it's the night before. Is it 2 nights before you're supposed to call an NFL football game? What do you need to be getting intoxicated for? What do you need to get a fight for? Stay in the room. Order room service. Never leave. Maybe if you want to take a stroll, that's fine. Don't do it drunk and then try to beat up a guy that's picking up used cooking oil. Oh my God. I didn't know what the story was until literally until right now. I knew he got stabbed and I knew he got arrested for starting a fight. That is the dumbest way to go to prison. That is one of the dumbest ways to potentially go to prison I have ever seen.
I can't wait for that course at the TCU journalism class of what not to do
when you travel on the road, when you get your big job.
Exactly. When you get your big job, guys, it's very important.
Honestly,
don't go get drunk and be a male Karen to a 70-year-old geriatric who's trying to pick up used cooking oil.
I mean, you look at I don't know who the person's name. I don't know who this Bailey person is. I mean, it could be one of the cops or something like that. But a quote from in the article: "We're lucky that no one's dead right now as a result of this incident that involved a knife." That's 100% true.
I completely forgot about this last night, which is why it wasn't on the sheet. And I got the update this morning that he was charged with a felony. I'm like, oh, I guess I found my sports right today. It's only going to be this.
It honestly, it needed to be said. If you didn't bring that up initially, I'd have been like, that's crazy. That might be one of the dumbest ways to potentially go to prison. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. We get to the noon hour when we come back.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Padres Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan, alongside Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We talked a lot of Padres baseball early on in the show. If you missed it, go back and re-listen to it. If not, we might talk a little bit more Padres baseball in just a little bit. We talked about the first half. I really want to get to the second half of the season. And then the where do we go from here, we might talk about tomorrow. I mean, we got to pace it out. We do got to get to the NFL whip around today. We'll get to some overreactions tomorrow on the show. We got San Diego State. I mean, we haven't talked about the Aztecs yet. Where's Sean Lewis? How about them Aztecs?
How about them Aztecs?
How about them Aztecs? Aztecs 4-1, baby. 4-1. Guys all laughed at me. That team is terrible. They can't win. They're not going to be able to win. Over-unders, 4.5 wins this season. They're at 4. They got to win one more game. And they hit the over. I thought the ceiling for this team this year, San Diego State football, I thought the ceiling for this team was 8 wins. I think they could still get to 8 wins. You start breaking down where they're at. I mean, right now, they are projected to be the number 2 team in the Mountain West Conference when it's all said and done. I mean, I like using Warren Nolan's website. If you haven't seen it, it's great for RPI. It's great for college basketball. It's great for college baseball. If you want to know where the rankings are at in terms of computers, you can do it for college football. They have it. San Diego State moving up the leaderboard on their ELO rankings, ranked 63rd in the country, right behind one spot behind Kansas State and a spot above Colorado. 4-1 in the season. If you go to that website, you can click on San Diego State's name after you go look at the ELO rankings, and those get updated every Sunday. And you look how the schedule plays out. The projected results for San Diego State the rest of the way, and these are pretty accurate. I'm going to tell you right now, they're pretty accurate. Take it for what it's worth. But based on their projections, they got San Diego State finishing the season 8-4 and 5-3 in conference. That means they have the Aztecs going 4-3 in their next 7 games. That would be okay. That would be okay. But going 4-3 in the next 7 games, I mean, that's going to go an 8-4 season. I said that at the beginning of the season that they could go 8-4, and everybody was laughing at me. What are you talking about? This team sucks. Aztecs are playing a lot better football. We'll talk more about that later on. That's a good win against Colorado State. Colorado State's not very good, but they handled business at home. The score was, I mean, most of the score was kind of like late time, trash time. But they got Nevada this week. Warren Nolan's here's how Warren Nolan's website thinks they're going to finish. They think they're going to beat Nevada. Think they're going to lose to Fresno State. I think both of those are fair. I mean, playing at Fresno State's going to be tough. Fresno State's 5-1. They're going to beat Wyoming at home. They're going to beat at Hawaii. They got the projected scores, too. They think they're going to beat Nevada 27-17. Think they're going to lose to Fresno State 27-20. Think they're going to beat Wyoming 24-17. They think they're going to beat Hawaii by 1, 24-23. WarrenNolan.com's got the Boise State beating the Aztecs 28-23. They have them beaten San Jose State 27-21, and they have them losing at New Mexico to finish the season by 1 point. I think Boise State's overrated. I think San Diego State could give them a run for their money. They get to play them here, not on the Smurf turf. I think they could beat Fresno State. I think that's probably the toughest remaining game on their schedule. And then at New Mexico at the end of the year, I mean, they're right now 1-point dog. They could beat New Mexico on the road. If they beat New Mexico on the road, just that one game, they go 9-3, there's a really good chance that San Diego State is in the Mountain West Championship game. There is a really good chance that the Aztecs are in the Mountain West Championship game. Think about that for a second. This is a team whose over-under for wins was 4.5 games at the start of the year. They've already won 4 games in their first 5 of the season. They have one clunker at Washington State, and it was a clunker. But you go through it, and I'm telling you, San Diego State has a good chance to play, not only play in the Mountain West Championship game, they're in a position right now they can host a Mountain West Championship game. Could you imagine San Diego State hosted a Mountain West Championship? I'm going to tell you right now, they have to do that. San Diego State has to find a way to host the Mountain West Championship game in football. They made it through their first 5 games 4-1. They have to find a way to get themselves to be a host of the Mountain West Championship game for the status and the prestige, but only the state of their athletic department. That is very important. They need to bounce back like that, like no other. Now, to me, I think they go 5-2 in their next 7 games. I think they lose at Fresno, and I think they lose to Boise State. I think that puts them out of potentially hosting, and you better hope that Fresno State and Boise State lose a game here or there, and maybe you can find a way to get into the Mountain West Championship game. I don't really want to talk about that. They beat Fresno State on October 25th. I think you could start talking about it. Washington State, I agree with August in the chat. Washington State was the wake-up call that the Aztecs needed, I think, to settle in. Now, Cal didn't help them out by getting blown out by Duke. I mean, their quarterback turned in. He looked colorblind on Saturday night. He was throwing to the wrong color of blue. Cal doing some damage would be better. But here's the thing about San Diego State now with the new playoff format. Here's the thing. Last year, the winner of the Mountain West game was guaranteed to be in the college football playoff. They were guaranteed to be in the college football playoff because Boise and UNLV did a great job. Now, San Diego State doesn't play UNLV this year. UNLV is undefeated. That is another team that they might have to look out for. There's other websites that you can look at for this, by the way. There are other websites that you can look at to check out tiebreakers and everything like that. There's a website called bball.notnothing.net. I'm going to tell you right now, that has basically the playoff machine for NFL, for the NFL and ESPN.com. That's what that is. So if you were to go to bball.notnothing.net, on the top, it says football. You can even do it for men's basketball. You Aztec fans can go check it out for men's basketball if you want to see like seedings for the Mountain West tournament when you get to that point. But you go to football, you go to West, you go to Mountain West, and it has all the games. Calculate the standings based on what they think teams are going to do, and it'll tell you where they're going to be based on tiebreakers. I mean, if San Diego State beats Nevada, which I think they'll do, and then they go in and they beat Fresno State, which I think is a difficult task. And you go through, they're going to beat Wyoming, I think. I think they beat Hawaii on the road, even though that's a tough game. They'll lose they might lose to Boise State. Let's say they beat Boise State and they lose to Fresno. I think that's probably more in line with what they could potentially do. They've played well at home. Aztecs will beat San Jose State, and then the Aztecs beat New Mexico. I mean, you're looking at a situation where the Aztecs are tied for first at 7-1 in the Mountain West Conference. Now, they'd lose out because they'd lose out to Boise and UNLV. And here's how it goes down. Boise State would have it'd be based on college football playoff ranking, potentially. And who knows what that looks like by the time that rolls around. But again, if you start looking at it, San Diego State's got a really good chance to play in the Mountain West Championship game. And if you are putting yourself in that position, that puts you in a spot to potential. I mean, could you imagine? I'm not saying this is the case. This is really putting the cart before the horse. But let's just think about it from a standpoint of the best group of 5 school gets to make the college football playoff. The best group of 5 school gets to make the college football playoff. It doesn't matter what school makes it. I mean, the Mountain West ain't going to do any damage in the college football playoff. Like that's just it's going to be tough. But what that could do for the program like San Diego State would be crazy. I mean, look up the NCAA football standings. There's some teams that they'd have to do better than, right? That they're already doing a really good job. Like Navy is leading the ACC. Or AAC. Memphis is undefeated. They have a win over Arkansas. Like, the winner of the AAC is probably in line to make the college football playoff. In Conference USA, Western Kentucky's 5-1. If they scare LSU the second to last week of the season, maybe they can go if they win the Conference USA. But you start looking at the competition, and it's not crazy. It's not crazy difficult. Sun Belt Conference has teams with multiple losses. Your best team in the Sun Belt right now is James Madison. Old Dominion was one of those teams. They already lost. I'm just saying, based on the group of 5 schools, you got a really good chance for San Diego State, for the Mountain West, again, to be the winner of that game, getting in the college football playoff. I couldn't even imagine what that would do. But all of a sudden now, Aztec fans, you are a part of the conversation with that nice little start that you have had to the season. I'm just saying. You got to take it one game at a time. But you look at the way San Diego State's schedule comes about. Now, they're at Nevada, coming up this Saturday. Again, tough to play on the road. Nevada's 1-4. Nevada this season played Penn State, got blown out. They beat Sac State. They've lost to Middle Tennessee, West Kentucky, and they lost by 3 to Fresno. Not going to be easy, but at this point, you look at the schedules for these teams, and I like the way San Diego State's schedule plays out. You look at Fresno State. They lost to Kansas, and then they have beat Georgia Southern, Oregon State, who doesn't have a win all year, Southern, Hawaii, they beat them by 2 points. They beat Nevada by a field goal. Fresno State's not a world beater team. San Diego State, to me, has one more clunker that they can give up and still make the conference championship game. It's either going to be against Fresno or Boise, and you better hope that you beat Hawaii. If you split with Fresno State and Boise State and beat Hawaii, you're in the Mountain West championship game, depending on what other teams do. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but so far, San Diego State is off to the start that they need in conference play, and they're off to the start to the season that they need, and just the season in general to save Aztec football. As dramatic as that sounds, they're playing to save Aztec football. I mean, no excuses at this point. Let's put it this way. Frank, let me ask you this question. I know you're working on stuff, but let me ask you this question. We've covered San Diego State. We're the only show that really covers San Diego State football. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem we have gotten from fans that say like they're uninterested is a couple of things. One of them is like who they play, and the other one is they're not very good. If San Diego State hosts the Mountain West Championship game, are there any excuses to not watch them play?
No.
There are not.
Absolutely not.
We can talk about ticket sales all you want. As San Diego State's doing a good job of making it affordable to go to games. Decent crowd on Friday. Not great. Competing with high school football. Never good. Parking lot was full. Took them a little bit to get inside the stadium. Not a bad crowd, but not necessarily one of the better crowds. Not better than San Diego FC. Probably not even that much better than the Wave, but they're trying. Could you imagine if they hosted the Mountain West Conference Championship? I mean, what would this like if they had? Let's put it this is like best case scenario. Again, we're dreaming here. This is a dream. If they host the Mountain West Championship game And based on how the results play out, it's just like last year, where if they beat Boise State, they're in the college football playoff. Is there any excuse to not watch them play?
No.
At that point, there's no excuse because you can't blame if they win the conference, they're not going to the playoff. You can't blame that they're not playing good football. The only thing you could really blame is how much the ticket prices are. But at that point, it would be justified if it's a little bit higher in price because it is a championship game. August in the chat. If they make the Mountain West Championship and they host, I'm paying whatever to get in that game. I haven't missed a hosted Mountain West Championship yet. I'm just saying, it could be something that really helps the program out and helps the athletic department out. They're off to a good start. We'll talk about the game against Colorado State in just a little bit, but they have to be able to take care of it. They got two tough road games in the Mountain West coming up. Keep feeding Lucky. Keep feeding Byron Cardwell. Keep feeding Christian Washington. Run the rock, play good defense. San Diego State might be in store to make some moves here in conference play. And we'll see if anybody gives a bleep. A lot of people say they don't. I'm telling you, that it's a different town now. Maybe we can get some people at the Aztec game. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, is this where we're going to finally talk about the second half of the Padres season, get our evaluations in, and then we will get to our whip around at 12:35. We'll talk more college football in the 1 o'clock hour. Get your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Braden Surprenant Show continues when we come back on San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. All right, Frank put a poll in the YouTube chat. I want to mention that all guests on 97 to the Fan join us via the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. What is your poll question today?
Poll question is: Would you be more willing to go to a San Diego State football game if they are in the Mountain West fight?
As opposed to
it is
not
up right now.
Yes.
As opposed to not being in contention yet.
Yeah. Well, probably.
Their final chance to win the Mountain West, by the way.
You know what? I like being forever champions of the Iron Skillet. Let's be forever champions of the real Mountain West. Never give it up. Sounds good to me, at least. We'll talk more Aztec football in just a little bit. All right, let's recap the second half of the Padres season as we do like our postmortem recap. We talked about the first half. The Padres at 52-44. Got to the part where they sent Fernando, Machado, Adam Suarez, and Morejon to the All-Star Game, 5 All-Stars. And then all of a sudden the second half happened, and oh boy. Padres kept floundering out of the All-Star break. And all of a sudden it was like, well, we got to wait for the trade deadline, correct?
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. AJ Preller traded the entire minor league system for Freddie Fermin, Ramon Laureano, Ryan O'Hearn, and Mason Miller. I thought all of those trades were good. JP Sears was in those trades, as well as Nestor Cortez. Ramon Laureano, instant and sustained impact on the lineup. We went down there for his introductory press conference or presser. I was immediately impressed with Ramon Laureano.
Yeah.
It's a major impact bat that losing him definitely cost you in the playoffs. He's got a club option for $6 million for next year. I can't imagine a world where they don't pick that up.
No, you got to pick that up. He has to be your starting left fielder next season. Has to be.
How much do you think he would make if he was a free agent this year?
Let's say 10 to 12, maybe.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. He would totally. He would totally do that. Totally get that. I mean, if Luis Arraez is going to get $15 million a year, Ramon Laureano is going to be getting something close to that. That's just the going rate. Is he better than Jerickson and Profar?
Yes.
You think he's better than Jerickson and Profar?
Yes.
You didn't even debate that. I don't necessarily know I disagree with you, but if that's the case, I mean, what did Jerickson get? He got a decent chunk of change.
It coming off of a career year, too.
And this is kind of a career year for Ramon Laureano, is it not? In terms of his power numbers?
He's had, yes, but he has had more sustained success than what Profar had prior to this. Profar got 8.1.
Profar got 15 a year.
I'm seeing 15 a year starting next year. It was the
his
the
suspension.
contract. The suspension is
his
what
original
changed it.
contract was 3 years, $42 million.
Yeah.
He got 14 a year. Ramon Laureano, how old is Ramon? I got to look it up now because Profar is now 32, which means he signed last year at 31, correct?
Yeah.
That's how math works. Age works,
Usually.
right? Yeah, usually.
That's what I've been
Laureano is 31.
Yeah. He'll be he will be 31 for next season.
He is very much on the same path as Jerickson and Profar. The difference is he has had a better career up to this point and is coming off a career year. He is definitely, and with inflation, he would definitely on the open market make 15 to maybe 17 or 18 million dollars a year. I think that's a fair price for a guy like Ramon Laureano.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to give him that. So to have him on the team for $6.5 million by taking the club option is a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. I don't think you can get anybody on the market for $6.5 million that's worth anything as an outfielder.
No.
I mean, the going rate for guys, and I mean, I don't want to see, and here's the thing, I don't want to see any more of these like $1 million contracts and hope for the best with aging veterans. I don't know how many times they have to continue to do that and just be like, this isn't successful. We're not talking about the aftermath, though. We're talking about the second half. Laureano looked great. Ryan O'Hearn was okay. Saw production slip a little bit, but he wasn't playing. What is Ryan O'Hearn in the second half of the season for the Padres if he played every day?
He's a major factor.
100%. 100%. I think it was a travesty that guy didn't play more.
Mm-hmm. And it goes to the next point on the list,
which was
Mike Schilt showing loyalties to quote unquote legacy players instead of using the better options that he had available. Him shoehorning Luis Ariz into the lineup
who's
every
not coming back
single
next year.
day.
Who's not coming back next year. I mean, this is the whole debate that we had like a month ago about I don't want to see Robert Suarez close games. People like lost their minds. And I was like, how can you tell me he's better than Mason Miller? You can't. You can't tell me he's better than Mason Miller. And guess who's leaving at the end of the year? It ain't Mason Miller. It's Robert Suarez. I mean, so a lot of those played out of just like, well, we've gotten here with these guys. I understand the phrase, like you go with the girl you brought to the dance. You go home with the girl that you brought to the dance. I get that. But you try to win homecoming king or not? I mean, what do we you got to try to win here. It didn't make a lot of sense. I think that kind of led to some of the problems that they had in the second half. I thought Freddie Fermin was a massive upgraded catcher.
Yeah, he is your catcher of the future, and you now have your 1-2 punch with him and Salas.
I think you probably have to deal with Campusano for like 2 years before Salas comes up.
Oh, yeah. Salas is not going to be a major league ball player next year. He'll probably be a call up at the end of next year. Will probably be when he gets his crack. But
let's say he doesn't get his crack until 2028.
Yeah, that's right around what you would expect.
Okay, let's say he doesn't get an opportunity until 2028. Freddie Fermin. Or, sorry.
Ethan Salas.
Ethan Salas. He still gets 2 years to work with Freddie Fermin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the backup for 2 years. And then by 2030, he's still super young. And now he's your everyday catcher on a league minimum.
He's just got to prove. He's just got to prove he can play his season without getting hurt right now.
Yeah,
that's Ethan Salas' big thing, is he has to play his season without getting hurt and prove he can do it.
So you go Freddie Fermin and Luis Campusano for the next 2 years, and then 2 years after that, it's Freddie Fermin and it's Ethan Salas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that works out fine. Again, this is more second half evaluation more than it is
off-season stuff.
Off-season stuff that we're going to get to tomorrow. Jackson Merrill gets back to rookie form. I kind of skipped ahead, but Jackson Merrill gets back to rookie form. I think you got to see he battled injuries again in the second half.
Yeah, but it wasn't
as catastrophic.
Yeah, it wasn't as annoying. It wasn't as many times on the IL. He was able to stay on the field at least through those injuries.
Manny Machado begins the fall off in September. He never really got it back going. He had the one home run in the playoffs, but his month of August and September were not good.
Mm-hmm.
Michael King and Yu Darvish returns become questionable. Dylan Cease shows some flashes, but is largely disappointing. Dylan Cease was, I think, when you evaluate what Dylan Cease was in a Padres uniform, I think it's hard to evaluate because last year he had arguably one of his best seasons as a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he was great last year.
He threw a no-hitter. His metrics were all high. His numbers were all high. And then this year was such a clunker going into a contract year.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely not coming back. Somebody's got to give him $30 million a year. They are. Somebody is, Frank. I mean, you laugh. Somebody's going to give him $25 to $30 million a year, and I think it's on the higher end.
No, I know it's going to happen, but
someone's
still,
going to do it. They see the strikeout stuff, and they go like, we're going to fix him. They're like a high school girl trying to fix the bat. I can fix him. No, you can't. He ain't getting fixed. He is what he is at this point.
August, don't put that evil on me.
It might be the Braves. Maybe the Braves will give him that kind of money. Braves don't hand out contracts like that. It's definitely the Mets.
Don't put that evil on me.
Cease to the Mets. Yeah, that's the last thing we got to see. That's the last thing we need is next year watching Frank watch the Mets during a show and Dylan Cease is on the mound. You see Juan Soto on Instagram?
Yeah. Juan Soto, who is literally in Cancun. Yes, I did.
He's the type of guy that would do that on purpose.
Oh.
Did you see the picture that he had of the pool saving a spot for you Yankees?
Yes.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Chance after chance after chance after chance after chance to catch the Dodgers. Couldn't do it. I thought the second half of the season and how they played was the epitome of 2025. Opportunities to achieve greatness missed.
With the weakest schedule in baseball.
Yeah, weakest schedule in baseball. Opportunities to achieve greatness severely missed.
Yep.
That is how I evaluate the 2025 Padres season.
Mm-hmm.
They were gift-wrapped a division, didn't take care of it. They were gift-wrapped a first-round bye, couldn't do it. They were gift-wrapped an opportunity to host a wild card game, and they couldn't do it. They were gift-wrapped multiple times opportunities in the wild card series to blow the game open in their favor. Couldn't do it. And then when they're down to their final inning, where they hadn't done jack bleep the entire game, they still were gift-wrapped an opportunity to potentially tie or win the game, and they still couldn't do it. They asked Manny Machado, how would you evaluate this season? It pissed him off. How I would evaluate the Padres season from start to finish? Massive miss on opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's strictly from the players. It's not from the coaching staff. I thought Mike Schilt in the month of September was managing games to try to win a game like they're playoff games. And you know what? The players didn't get the job done. I thought A.J. Preller saw the opportunities to improve his roster to go win a division and win in the postseason, and he took advantage of it, and he went and made those moves. The ownership spent the money. A.J. Preller went and improved the roster. Mike Schilt dialed up what he could, and the players failed to take advantage of the opportunities. That is how I evaluate the 2025 San Diego Padres.
And it looked good, too. The sweep of Arizona gave you hope.
And their offense that they showed.
Yeah, and the offense, especially on Sunday, the day before going into the playoffs. And it just, as everything did with this team, just as some momentum started to pick up, it just fell flat.
Xander Bogaerts turned his season around in the second half. Mason Miller made his case for the closer. Fernando continued to be just off. I mean, you'd see a little stride, but he never got back to his usual form. And again, I don't think he played well last year without steroids.
Mm-hmm.
The steroid narrative is lazy. It's laziness. You're being lazy. Losing Jason Adam hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. Because you could have played some things a little bit differently, I think, in the bullpen if you had Adam ready to go. I mean, he was the guy that would pitch every single day. That hurt. Clinched the playoff spot with 5 games remaining, and then you lose 2 out of 3 into the wild card to Chicago. I mean, we went through the whole season. First half, second half. My evaluation is a season of missed opportunities. What is yours?
Yeah, that has to be what it is. It was consistent inconsistency from everybody in the lineup. From top down, the offense never found its stride. At any point in the season, this offense never found its stride for any sort of sustained amount of time. There was always a big name that was missing. There was always a big name that just could not get it together on offense. And when you had the opportunity to take the division, when you had the opportunity with the Dodgers reeling, a month left in the season, you were tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and you just fell by the wayside. You squandered every opportunity you had this year, period.
We're going to talk about, what do you do from here tomorrow. We have a lot of time to talk about that because the division series are just going underway. I mean, the baseball is going to be played until Halloween. And then after that, you could dive in a little bit more. We're going to talk, it's going to go about as we get news and information, but you're not going to get real news until 5 days after the end of the regular season. And there's some players that might not be coming back that you thought might be coming back. But I look at just overall real quick. The good news is $12 million is off the books automatically. You don't have to pay Eric Hosmer anymore. You are done paying Eric Hosmer. Your estimated 2026 payroll, according to Fangraphs right now, is $175 million. The Padres, or should I say Kevin Acee, thinks that the Padres are going to stay under 190. I don't really trust Kevin Acee on those figures because so far, the last 3 to 4 off seasons, whatever number he has said, they have blown through. So who knows? They're definitely not spending $200 million. I can tell you that. I mean, they paid $211 million this year. I don't think they need to stay over $200 million unless it becomes a bottom tier salary. To me, if the Padres stay in the top 15 in salary, they're doing the job to spend money. That's how I view it. And we'll see what happens with the TV contracts and everything like that. And I mean, we'll see. But you got a lot of money coming off the books. It doesn't sound like Dylan Cease is coming back. It sounds like Robert Suarez will probably opt out of his contract. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I mean, if he doesn't, he's getting paid $8 million for the next 2 years. His AAV just went down to 9.2. Ramon Laureano's on a club option. I imagine they picked that up. Kyle Hart's got a $5 million club option. I would imagine they deny that. And then you're going to have to pay regardless, because Michael King's not accepting the mutual option because he could get $3.75 million already guaranteed if he opts out of that deal. But you have to pay King $3.7. You have to pay Diaz $2 million. You're going to have to pay Hart $500,000 to go away, and you have to pay Tyler Wade $50,000 for leaving. Those are your expenses, and then you got your salaries, right? Machado's getting 25 next year. Xander's getting 25 next year. Fernando gets a bump. He's up to 20 next year. Joe Musgrove's getting 20. Darvish is getting 16. I'd be interested to see if Darvish retires or not. You got to pay him for 3 more seasons. 6, 7, and 8. Maybe they work on a deal where they pay him half and they get him retire. I can't imagine him coming back and pitching. Merrill's only getting 2.1 next year. Pivetta gets 20.5, and he can opt out after the end of next season. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk more about this as the offseason rolls on. We do want to get to our NFL whip around when we come back. We're a little bit late, but we're here on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Padres Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This hour 97 through the fans, presented by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover a moment that inspires. Rental car was a Kia up there. It's nice. Enjoy driving it. More than my Camaro. Sometimes when I drive other cars, I forget that I'm not in my Camaro, and I cannot make the same moves in the car as I do in my Camaro. Just saying. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's talk about the National Football League. It's time to get to our NFL whip around.
All righty, let's do it. Well, we missed a big point of the Padre game on Thursday, as you mentioned before. San Francisco Giants defeating the Los Angeles Rams in overtime, 26-23. Anything from that you may have missed that you want to rehash now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We talked about it enough on Friday.
The now 3-2 Minnesota Vikings with a win over the Cleveland Browns. Browns now fall to 1-4. Final score 21-17 in London.
The Browns controlled that entire game. The Browns controlled that entire game from start to finish. Still had a lead when they punted the ball back to Minnesota with under 2 minutes to go, and the Vikings got the drive all the way down the field and scored the game-winning touchdown with 20 seconds to go.
Well, oops.
Cleveland's still Cleveland. I poor Clay in the South Bay. The that is a frustrating loss, watching the Browns lose that game to Minnesota, 21-17. On to the next one that didn't have the color analyst that you thought you were going to have.
Yeah. What do you know about that, huh?
Huh?
It was the 1-4 Las Vegas Raiders losing to the Indianapolis Colts, who are now 4-1. Colts winning 40-6. That's a score.
Have we bought into the Colts yet?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I haven't yet. I haven't bought into the Colts yet. The Raiders are garbage. The Raiders, it doesn't really matter who the Raiders have. It doesn't matter about the players they have. It doesn't matter about the coaches they have. It doesn't matter who they bring in. The Raiders will always Raider.
I mean, it's not even
They
that.
are terrible.
It's Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones has struggled in those games. In games against teams they should beat, he's struggled. He looked like a Super Bowl winning quarterback this week.
He played the Raiders.
I understand.
Can you tell me the 4 teams that they have beaten?
If he played the Jets last year, that would have been a 1-score game.
Colts are still fake good. They've beaten the Dolphins. Are the Dolphins good, Frank? Answer the question. Are the Dolphins good?
No, but again,
hold on. They beat the Titans. Are the Titans good?
No.
They beat the Raiders. Are the Raiders good?
No, but these are games that Daniel Jones has struggled in.
Hold on. They played the Rams. Rams are good. Oh,
Yes,
wait. They lost to the Rams. They got saved in the Broncos game that they won by 1 point. I'm not ready to crown them. I think the Colts are pretenders still. But you know what? Good for them. They hang 40 on the Raiders. How many times did Geno Smith turn the ball over yesterday?
Enough.
I'm not ready to buy the Colts yet. But you know what? Good teams find a way to win. So they might be good, but I'm not saying that they're great. They get here's a tough one. They got the Cardinals next week. Wow.
Hey, there you go.
And after that, they play the Lightning Bolts. Then the Titans again, who suck.
No, the NHL season starts tomorrow.
Steelers are okay. Falcons, garbage. You get to play the Texans later. Jaguars twice. I mean, Colts are going to go like 14-3 and lose in the first round of the playoffs. And people are like, whatever are the Colts? On to the next one.
I'll tell you a couple teams that will not be in the first round of the playoffs. The now 2-1 Dallas Cowboys beat up on the New York Jetropolitans 37-22 in New York. Jets are now 0-5. New York football is a combined 1-9 through the first 5 games.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? The Yankees are not doing well either. It's great. New York teams. What a time to be alive, huh?
Can't have everything.
Apparently not. Anybody playing better at quarterback right now in the National Football League than Dak Prescott? The answer is no. Dak's playing the best right now out of all the quarterbacks. Dak's been playing really good. Offense for the Cowboys, great. Defense sucks. That's why they're 500.
only
They might sneak into the playoffs at like 1 game or 2 games above 500. Depends how they do against the Commanders in 2 weeks. The Cowboys' defense is a problem. But you know what? Offensively, they could score a lot of points. I thought the Jets game was going to be tight for them because they're not very good. But I tell you what, offense hung 37 again. Dallas Cowboys offense, they're going to just be in shootouts all the time.
If only they had Micah Parsons.
I know.
The Denver Broncos beating the Philadelphia Eagles. I told you the Eagles are not as good as everyone thinks they are.
I also said that.
21-17 the final. Broncos now 3-2. Eagles first loss of the year, 4-1.
Ballsy. The Broncos are ballsy. Sean Payton is ballsy. The moves the moves that they're making, the plays that they were calling. I mean, that's a team that's going to be a tough out. I think the Denver Broncos. I mean, they got hosed in Indianapolis. They should be 4-1 right now. They go into Philadelphia and they beat up on the city of brotherly love. Not a great weekend for Pennsylvania, huh?
No, it was
Penn State loses to UCLA. Eagles lose to the Broncos, and the Phillies blow a lead against the Dodgers. You know what? The only people I feel bad for are the Penn State people. But unless they root for the Philly teams, then I don't feel bad for them.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. You know what? You should be. What a great weekend for you, Frank. Don't let Penn State distract you from the fact that your 2 arch nemesis teams embarrassed themselves over the weekend.
It was a great week to root against the arch nemesis.
On to the next one.
The New York Football Giants continue their string of embarrassment as they lose to the New Orleans Saints, 26-14. Both teams are 1-4. New York Giants, 5 turnovers on 5 straight drives. Braden, you know the last team to do that?
The New York Football Giants?
No, funnier.
The New York Jets.
Yep.
Must be something in the water.
State of New York football.
New Orleans might be one of the worst teams I've seen in the NFL. The fact that they got a win is embarrassing for the New York G-men, New York Football Giants. I think they got something in Jackson Dart. They got nothing else around them. Brian Dable's going to get fired. There's no way he can survive this.
No, absolutely not. We would play highlights, but we're running so close on time here. The Miami Dolphins lose to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are 2-3. With a 27-24 win. It was a touchdown in the final 2 minutes. Touchdown pass.
Speaking of coaches getting fired, Mike McDaniel, Dolphins also trash. If they didn't get to play the Jets twice, they probably would be 0-5 too. They're awful. Carolina, I don't know what you're going to do with Bryce Young. Bryce Young, really good phenomenal high school quarterback, great college quarterback. Don't know if he has what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. They got him a couple of weapons now. Got to see some fight out of Carolina, but overall, the Panthers are just they're not going to be very good. They're 2-3, hanging in there, I guess. What? Miami looks awful, and they don't have Tyreek Hill the rest of the season. It's going to be even worse.
You want to talk about a surprising bad team? That'd be the Baltimore Ravens, who are 1-4 after getting not only beaten but thrashed by the Houston Texans, 44-10.
We both picked Baltimore, even though we knew Lamar Jackson was going to play. And I know they got a lot of injuries, but Houston has looked incompetent.
Yeah, Houston's not that good.
Their first 3 games, they looked absolutely incompetent. They've won their last 2 in a row. They destroyed Baltimore. Baltimore blowing that lead against Buffalo, you're like, wow, that's such a great win for Buffalo. Look at this team that they beat. And then since then, Baltimore beat the Browns and then have lost 3 straight now. Baltimore is very bad. I don't know if it's going to get any better for them. We will continue our whip around in the 1 o'clock hour. I was shocked by that scores. Hey, you know what?
Yeah, that was surprising.
CJ Stroud just needed to see Baltimore to get right, apparently. We'll talk about the other games that happened in the NFL. Titans. Oh, my God, the Titans and Cardinals game. Did you watch that? Did you see what happened? Did anybody
I saw a
see
couple of things that happened.
What happened in Arizona? Disaster. What a terrible idea. We'll talk about what happened in Arizona yesterday on the Braden Surprenant Show. Coming up next, San Diego Sports Station, 97 to the Fan. 1 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant show. Didn't play the midday sports standoff, but if you take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a trip for two to see Jerry Seinfeld in Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show on April 17th at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, and a $100 gas card. Jerry Seinfeld returns to the Coliseum at Caesars Palace on April 17th and 18th. See Ticketmaster.com for tickets. Let's get back to our second half of the NFL Whip Around. All right.
Let's do that then. I'll stop what I was doing here. Hold on.
What in the world happened in Arizona?
Yeah, we left off with it. The 1-4 now, 1-4. The Tennessee Titans have won an football game over the Arizona Cardinals. 2-3 now, 22-21. In what can only be described as one of the NFL games of all time.
Tennessee and Arizona. This game was great. It was laughable. I got to say, my boy, TCU Horned Frog, Amari DiMercato. I don't know who taught you what you did, but it was not us. I can tell you that right now. Amari DiMercato ripped off in the second half. Let me get the official play-by-play of this, of the fumble. He ripped off. I mean, I couldn't believe this. I could, and then I couldn't at the same time. Amari DiMercato ripped off a 72-yard touchdown run.
That was the part you could believe.
Okay? Near the end of the third quarter. That was to put Arizona up 28-6 or 27-6, pending PAT. They review it. He starts to drop the ball before the end zone. He starts to drop the ball before the end zone. And then it runs.
He draws the foul.
The ball rolls out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. They viewed it. They called it a touchdown on the field. They reviewed it. They said the ball was out before he broke the plane. That's neither. I don't necessarily know if that was the case. That's not the problem. The problem is, why would you ever do that? How many times have we seen pro athletes that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, just drop the ball before the end zone? How many more have to do this before we all learn that we should probably run through the end zone with the football without dropping the football? How many more times do we have to say this? How many more times? I mean, just for the sake of embarrassment. Deshaun Jackson did it. I've seen so many guys. How? I don't understand. I don't get it. How could you be that incompetent to not at least run through the end zone with the football before you have to drop it and act like you're badass? You know he's not badass? Amari DiMercato. 72-yard touchdown to basically put that game on ice. It gets reversed. Titans take over. Their next drive, they drive down the field. They score a touchdown. And then you know what they did? They missed the point after attempt because the Titans still can't not Titan. Also a bad franchise. Arizona gets the ball back. They're up 21-12. We're in the fourth quarter. They get the ball with 10 minutes and 26 seconds. They go 3 and out and only burn a couple of minutes off the clock. They punt it back to the Titans with 8:53 to go. How about this? Tennessee has the ball. 3rd and 2 at the Arizona 20. They're down 21-12 with 4:39 left in the fourth quarter. They throw a pick. And Arizona, being the Arizona Cardinals that they are, they throw the pick at the 5-yard line. Arizona's player, Marlon McCree's it and coughs it up. Have no fear. There's multiple Cardinals around. They try to dive on the football. One of the Arizona Cardinals dives onto the football towards the end zone, misses, kicks the ball into the end zone, just hits it in the end zone. Tyler Lockett is standing there, Tennessee Titan, falls on the ball. It is a touchdown. So the Titans went from throwing a pick to potentially end the game. It turns into a touchdown. It's now 21-19. Arizona still getting the ball back with 4:39 left, and they lead by 2. They have to punt again with 2 minutes to go. They punt it back to Tennessee. Titans go 11 plays, 71 yards in a minute and 53 seconds and kick a 29-yard field goal at the buzzer to get out of Arizona with a 22-21 victory. I'm sick. That might be the most disgusting way to lose a football game I've ever seen. But you know what? I have seen this before. And you know what? I've heard about this from other media members. And you know what? The Arizona Cardinals continue to prove to be the worst organization in all of sports. And there's a lot of bad organizations. I remember hearing that going like, no, there's no way the Arizona Cardinals are the worst organization in all of professional sports. And you know what? They just find ways to outdo themselves all the time. And Arizona drops the game. They were up 21-6, about to be up 28-6 in the final minutes of the third quarter. They lose the game 22-21 on pure stupidity and give Tennessee their first win of the season. Did I miss anything?
The XFL died for this twice, by the way. The 4-1 now Tampa Bay Buccaneers with another walk-off field goal beating the Seattle Seahawks, who fall to 3-2, 38-35.
You know, both of these games were the best games of the weekend for two totally different reasons. Tennessee and Arizona was fun for the winner of the disaster. What a terrible idea game.
It's the XFL Bowl.
The XFL Bowl down at State Farm, whatever it's called. And then this game was the best game of the weekend. Not only was it the best uniform combo ever, I mean, chef's kiss with the 1990s Jim Zorn Seattle Seahawks jerseys.
Those Seahawks jerseys are so nice.
Great. The orange creamsicle road jerseys for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a great football game. Tampa Bay wins it on a game-winning field goal. That's a big win for Tampa. They're 4-1 now. They might be a team to worry about in the NFC.
Another team who is 4-1, the Detroit Lions beat up on the Cincinnati Bengals 37-24
Speaking
in
of bad
Cincinnati.
organizations. Speaking of bad organizations.
Well, you know.
Lions are good. They're ballsy. And they run. I mean, everybody, myself included, was a little concerned about, can Dan Campbell win without his OC now being the head coach in Chicago? Yeah, they can. And you know what? They've won easily. 4-1 now. They got off to a rough start, losing to Green Bay out of the gate on the road. They've won 4 straight. They handled business against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are awful without Joe Burrow, but they did that to themselves because they didn't invest in offensive linemen. And this is why I find it funny. You know, Jamar Chase had a good day, right? You know, it's a good way to wipe out Jamar Chase from the game plan, where you don't have to worry about him anymore. I don't know. Be better on the offensive, be better defensively on the defensive front than the O-line for Cincinnati. I mean, receivers like to talk about themselves a lot. Receivers like to talk about how great they are, how important they are. But if you have nobody to keep the quarterback upright, who's going to throw you the ball? Ace? Nobody. That's why the saying is, receivers are a dime a dozen. You need linemen. This is why I keep preaching everybody. In the draft, stop drafting receivers early unless you have an offensive line that's ready to go to protect your quarterback, or you have a quarterback. Drafting receivers early, dumb. Bengals, dumb organization. Didn't protect their investment that they spent in Joe Burrow, and now they're suffering the consequences because the backup quarterback in Jake Browning is not an NFL quarterback. The Bengals will continue to falter. Good win for the Lions, though. They're 4-1. LOL at the LA Chargers. They're back.
Yeah, the Chargers are charging again. They lose to the Washington Commanders in LA 27-10. Both of these teams are now 3-2. For the Chargers, is their second straight loss. Second straight loss against the NFC East, by the way. After a 3-0 start against their own division.
Yeah, remember when the Chargers were like, oh my God, this is the best start we've ever had, and they're so good, and we're 3-0. Well, reality check. They lost to a Giants team that is garbage. Incompetent. And then Commanders are a little scrappy. They got Daniels back. But I'm going to tell you right now, are the Washington Commanders a big travel team? Is that a team that travels very well? I don't know. Just kind of asking. Asking for a friend because that looked like another road game in L.A. Not a lot of people at the game at the end of the day, but that's because the Chargers are losing. I did see a lot of maroon and gold. And every time that the Commanders scored, it was loud as S all the time.
USC fans.
It's true. Maybe they're all SC fans.
Note to the NFL. I don't care how big and how beautiful the building is. No one cares about football in Los Angeles.
They do. Unfortunately, their team's in Vegas.
True. Sunday Night Football. For those of you who are watching right now on the NFL Network, close your ears. You're about to get spoiled here. The New England Patriots knock off the Buffalo Bills. How about that? 23-20. Pats are 3-2. This is the first time I can remember the Pats being above 500 in forever. Bills' first loss of the year against a divisional rival.
The Patriots are turning things around. Here's the deal about the Patriots now. No Tom Brady, no Bill Belichick. Kind of like the Patriots. I don't hate the Patriots anymore. There's no reason for me to hate the Patriots.
They're not the evil entity anymore.
I like Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel's a great football coach. I like Drake May. I think Drake May is a great quarterback. I think Drake May is going to be a really good quarterback in the National Football League. They don't have anybody I dislike. I was actually rooting for New England yesterday. I couldn't believe it. And I love Buffalo. I love Josh Allen. I like the Bills. I would love to see the Bills win a Super Bowl. But I tell you what, that game last night was fun to watch. New England is getting turned around. Buffalo's still probably the team to beat in that division, but they made it a little interesting. I like the New England Patriots. I like what Mike Vrabel's doing up there in New England. He's getting the band back together. Just minus the baggage of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels is calling the offense. Are they going to hire Mike Patricia to call the defense?
There you go. There's an idea.
He's kicking ass at Ohio State right now. I'm sure he's playing.
Huh?
He's playing Ohio and Minnesota. A lot of lousy teams, but you know what?
Man,
hey,
relax.
Just saying. How about that? Was a great game last night. Drake May made some great throws. He got lucky a couple of times. Stephon Diggs got him out of a jam on the game-winning field goal drive. Patriots defense looked good. Patriots, man, like pretty solid.
And tonight, Monday Night Football, 2-2 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you got?
Jacksonville's been pretty sneaky, and Kansas City hasn't played very well.
Yeah, they haven't been like the what was it? Jalen Ramsey. It was Ramsey was their corner. Was it Jalen Ramsey?
Which team are we talking about?
The
Jags?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the last time they were good? They haven't been that good, but they have been a very solid team. And Trevor Lawrence is looking like
Blake Bortles era of the Jags.
Yes. And Trevor Lawrence is starting to kind of look like the quarterback he was supposed to be.
So. Well, Taylor Swift just announced a new album, so maybe that will affect Travis Kelce. Maybe it'll affect Travis Kelce. Have you listened to the new album yet, Swifty? What was worse, the cutlet sandwich that I talked about, or calling you a Swifty for no reason? That was uncalled for. That was a foul. That's a foul.
Yeah, that is a foul. We'll get to it a little bit later because we're on the same pot here.
And we got to get to break.
We do have to get to break.
That was our NFL whip around. We got a good NFL game again tonight. You can hear that on 97.3 The Fan, San Diego's #1 sports station. We will talk Aztec football when we come back, how they did against Colorado State. Get to our college picks at 1:35 as well. San Diego FC makes MLS history. We'll get to Frank on that. Plus, I do want to get to this when we talk about college football. Diego Pavia. Bro, shut up, dude. I'm just a kid. No, you're not. I'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 to the Fan join us via the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I'm in a little bit of a predicament here, Frank, as I try to complete it myself. So anyway, we have I'm planning on going to the TCU Baylor game.
Okay.
Right? I'm also coaching high school football. It makes it very difficult to do.
Sick invite.
Well, based on the travel that I'm going to have to do, I don't think you want to go. So I booked like the first flight out.
I don't have the money to go either. So
I booked the first flight out on Saturday morning on October 18th.
Okay.
And then I booked a flight Monday morning early so I get back in time so I can do the show on Monday. Because I got to coach high school football on Friday. The problem is college football doesn't like to announce their times until 2 weeks out because, corporate TV just says, like, we don't really care who's at the games. We really care about who watches on TV. So I booked everything like months ago going, as long as the game is not at 11 a.m., it's okay.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Because I land at 11:30. If the time slots you could get in Central Time are 11 a.m., 2:30, 6:30. Those are the times you can get. Sometimes it's 6, depending on the network. And I'm sitting there going like, well, you know what? TCU Baylor is not going to be big noon kickoff. So that's going to be okay. And I'm looking at all the other games in the Big 12. And I'm like, okay, well, they usually spread it out and they had to pick. They do their little draft, right? And I'm looking at the games. It's like Arizona, Houston, It's good. It's not great. West Virginia, UCF, That game should be early. I don't know. Maybe because it's 2 East Coast teams playing each other. Texas Tech and Arizona State, good. And it's in Tempe. Okay. That should be the night game. That should be a game at like 8 o'clock at night because it's, I don't know, late window. Sounds perfect for that. Both teams are ranked. That makes a lot of sense. Should be a night game. Utah at BYU, also Western United States and Mountain Time, should be a night game. Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, that game kind of sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. Oklahoma State's trash. Like, they're not winning any games. And I could safely say that because TCU doesn't have to play Oklahoma State. So I'm not going to eat my words later. Oklahoma State is garbage. Cincinnati is okay. Cincinnati's an East Coast team. Get the game over with early. Those are the matchups in the Big 12 on Saturday, October 18th. I had to wait it out until today when they announced the times. Again, I land at 11th, first flight out of San Diego's airport. New terminal, by the way. It's nice. I don't care what Haley said. It's a nice airport.
Jeez, you were cordial last week. Like, what are we doing here?
I watched the video and I disagree with her complaints. I think they are.
Yeah, because the amenities aren't there yet.
Well, she said there was no amenities down by her gates, and I was at those gates. Cutwater is getting built right now.
That's your gate problem.
It's not a long walk from like the food area. And knowing what we had before, it's way better than it was. By the way, nobody's in line at taco stand there. That might be a good play. That might actually, to save you time, buy a cheap flight, get into the terminal to buy your taco stand. That might be a good move compared to the lines that nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about it over there at the airport. We know about it here, but taco stand's line was short.
You know what the problem is, though? See, you kind of just said that, not in a private one-on-one conversation. You kind of said that on like the biggest radio station in the city, where a lot of people are listening.
If they listen to me and buy a flight to get better line for taco stand, that is a waste of money. Maybe I'm throwing bait that way, a little bait and switch on something else.
Like buying a 747 to get free peanuts.
Sure. They don't serve those anymore. Guys like you ruined it for everybody else.
Excuse me for not wanting to die on a flight.
For peanut allergies. Let's be clear on that.
Well, I don't want to die on a flight, period.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Okay. Anyway, those are the matchups. I had to wait till today at 9 a.m. to get the announcement time. Again, I land at 11:30. 2:30 start, I can make it happen. 6:30 start, ideal. It's great. Not expecting a night game. TCU's not ranked. Baylor's been okay. 4-2 Baylor, 4-1 TCU. Rivalry game, homecoming weekend. ESPN says, the mouse says, I don't care. 11 a.m. 11 a.m.
He draws the
foul on the mouse. Are you kidding me with that? 11 a.m.? What a joke. You have Cincinnati and Oklahoma State you can put at 11 a.m. Guess what time that game is?
Or better yet, you can put that on at like 9 a.m. because no one's going to care no matter who it is.
I mean, 11 a.m. is the central time. That's the deal. So it is a 9 a.m. game. So TCU Baylor's 9 a.m. on the West Coast, which is stupid. Frog is mad at the mouse. Cincinnati, Oklahoma State sounds like a perfect time to have that game at 9 a.m. Pacific time where nobody gives a bleep.
Please tell me they got prime time.
They got 5 p.m. Pacific time. They got 6 p.m. Central time, 8 o'clock Eastern. For Cincinnati, Oklahoma State. And by the way, it's not like they put on ESPN Plus. They are on the same channel as TCU Baylor. TCU Baylor's at 11 in the morning on ESPN2. Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, which game sucks, is at 5 o'clock Pacific time on ESPN2.
Who do you think paid more, Cincinnati to get that game on prime time or Qatar to get the World Cup in 2022?
I mean, come on. Come on.
Who do you think paid more?
Come on. I mean, like, for real, that's the... If you would have put, like, if it was... Cincinnati and Oklahoma State is at 11 a.m. with TCU and Baylor, and Arizona, Houston would make more sense later in the day because they're both 4-1. Oklahoma State, we're talking about a team that fired their coach that hasn't been worth a damn in like 5 years, gets a 6 o'clock kickoff. Stupid. So anyway, now I'm in a situation of, do I change my, do I try to, like, I'm going to land at Love Field at 11:30. Then I got to get into an Uber. They got to go. I mean, it's just like, I'm going to get there like the third quarter. If I do that, the game will be almost over at that point. I have to coach high school football the night before. Now, here's the deal. The problem is there's not a lot of like late flights out of San Diego. There are none with Southwest. Like Southwest last flight out to get to DFW is like 6 something. If I wanted to change planes, it's like an 8:45 flight. That doesn't help me.
This is why JetBlue is good because I think the last flight out for JetBlue is at like 11.
Yeah, but is it to Dallas?
JetBlue usually flies direct.
So I looked at that, and then I got sent, like, my friend that's coming with, like, going to the thing with me. She was like, here's some other flights. Delta leaves at 10:30. Hey, that works out. Until you see where they're flying to before they get to Dallas.
Wait, what day is the flight, you said?
I have to change the flight to Friday, October 17th.
The 7th, so next weekend. Got it.
Correct.
And you're coming back on
Monday morning.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Yeah. So
if I have to do the show in Dallas, I might have to do the show in Dallas.
There are no flights for
JetBlue. Yeah, thanks. I mean, American Airlines hub is DFW, so that's probably. So here's one. They're like, oh, what about there's a.
You don't get the TVs and the headrests on American Airlines. You get them with JetBlue.
I've had them on American. You're flying the wrong American.
It has been a long time since I've flown American Airlines.
I could tell.
I only fly JetBlue. I like JetBlue. JetBlue's nice. JetBlue sponsor me, please.
Seriously. That is such a New York thing, by the way. New Yorkers love JetBlue. Is it a New York airline? Are they based out of LaGuardia or something?
No, it's just it's a good airline. I've flown when we had money. When we moved out here, we flew American one time. I think we flew Delta. We may have flown Southwest. But there was one time where we flew JetBlue, and it was the best experience of the lot. So we just kept flying JetBlue whenever we would fly from here to New York.
I had a teacher growing up that hated JetBlue. She had one bad experience and just said never fly. And so for some reason, that's just kept in my eyes, kept in my mind. So anyway, there's a 10:30 flight at Delta. I can make a 10:30 flight after a high school football game. Do you know where it connect? When you know where the connection is though?
Seattle.
It's Atlanta. That makes no sense. Oh, you can leave at 10:30. I mean, I could do that. Theoretically, I could do that. Fly out of San Diego at 10:30. Fly cross country to Atlanta. Have a 1 hour and 42-minute layover in Atlanta. And then fly Atlanta to DFW and land at 8:48 in the morning on Saturday. That sounds beyond stupid. Why would I do that? I love the Frogs. I don't love the Frogs that much. to fly at 10:30 at night. I mean, I'd be, because at that point, I would have done the show. I would have done like high school football all night. I'd have to leave the game slightly early to get down to the airport, fly, what is that, like a 4-hour flight? I mean, I've been on some flights from Delta to Atlanta that they've like cut down to like 3:30, which is crazy to me with the Jetstream and how fast that they fly.
Jetstream usually goes the other way.
No, Jetstream goes West Coast to East Coast. You go against it flying back west, so it's a lot longer. But anyway, you would have to fly to Atlanta and then fly back to Dallas. I'd still get there at 8:48. I would have to like early check in a hotel or like have everything. I already have the hotel booked. I'd have to leave my stuff at the hotel, go to the game. I'd be crashed out at like 2:30 in the afternoon. I guess I could like sleep on the plane. That is 8 hours and 18 minutes of travel from when I leave San Diego to get to DFW. I don't know about that.
Rod, that's a foul.
He draws the foul.
7-Eleven of the skies.
No, it's not.
7-Eleven of the skies, he says.
No, it's not.
That's the last flight out, at least on Delta. I don't know what American's last flight out is. Looks like it's 6:48. I mean, it's just, I don't...
Take a Greyhound, Rod says. That might be another foul.
I'd rather fly to Atlanta and fly back to DFW than take a Greyhound as soon as the game ends. By the way, I could never make it in time because it's 24 hours to get to Dallas anyway.
You know if Delta has a like a parachute in one of those Mission Impossible escape chutes that you just drop like once you get over Dallas, just drop you right out?
Yeah.
Or is that like an extra $9,000 you have to pay for that?
You got Bill in the chat saying James Franklin at the LCC Mission Hills game, then dropped a huge egg the next day at UCLA. Do you guys think like that they don't go recruiting on Friday nights?
No, I'm just saying it looks worse after a loss like that. That's all.
That's only because you saw him on like the PPR filmed them.
Don't get caught on camera.
They do that every single time. I mean, every single loss that James Franklin has had, guess what he was doing on Friday night? Recruiting.
Studying for a game.
He was recruiting. No, he wasn't studying for a game. By that time, the studying's already done. Now it's paralysis by analysis. Anything out of LAX or John? How am I going to get to LAX in time if I'm coaching a high school football game? I mean, I could leave early to a certain extent, but like in order to make a 10:30 flight, that means I'd have to get there at 9:30-ish, which means I'd probably have to leave at like 9:15 at the latest.
Solved your problem.
What is my solution?
See if Skylar will take you.
You know what? Maybe she can. She can do those flights.
We'll ask her on Thursday.
Flight. Hey, you know what?
Ask on Thursday.
I have to hire Skylar to fly with us.
Skylar, you're beating me in college picks now. So I think it's only fair for me to ask you if you could fly me to Dallas.
I don't think she has a big enough plane.
You only need one.
I don't think the planes flying out of Montgomery can fly to Dallas. Maybe they can. I don't know. I don't really want to be in one of those planes for that long.
Not with that attitude.
I would rather fly to Atlanta than fly back to Dallas and do that.
I gave you your solution, and
you gave
found
me
everything wrong with it.
You know what?
Solution.
You gave me an solution.
You know how appreciated I feel. Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. No, I got you.
I know, but most people listening probably doesn't know that inside joke. And so you gave me a solution. Yeah, look, Rod's got a solution. Fly from TJ. I could go through customs twice. Well, I'd still rather fly to Atlanta than fly back to DFW. I'm sorry. Anyway. All right. Let's talk about college football when we come back. We'll talk about the Aztecs when we come back. Finish up the show. San Diego Padres Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This hour 97 through the fans brought to you by IHOP. Introducing the IHOP value menu where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else can you get a big filling sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP value menu, available every day at IHOP, $7 in some locations. Some of those locations are in San Diego, by the way. I had a friend yell at me for that. Bro, the one I had was $7. Hey, you know what? The disclaimer's in the deal. Would you be more likely to go to an Aztec football game within the Mountain West fight? 53% said yes, Frank. 50-50. They still don't care about the Aztecs. It's crazy to me.
Fighting for the last Mountain West championship, guys. The
Come
last
on.
one.
Get you in the playoff, maybe.
Before you're fighting for the first Power Act 12 championship.
This person on social media tweeted this out 3 hours ago, which is during our show. No way some caller on 97.3. The fan really just said we should tear down and start over.
Yeah, that might have been us, guys. Sorry.
That was our show. I didn't say it.
No, we didn't. No, we did not say it.
We did not say it, nor endorse said caller. Maybe that needs to be a disclaimer in our before we take calls. We do not share the same opinions as some of our callers. They might say some outlandish things. But we love them for it. Love them for it. The flight thing sucks. Let's talk about some college football. Okay, I got to get into this for a second before we break down the games of the weekend. And there were some good games of the weekend. Or break down the AP top 25 votes. Jeez Louise. Frank's upset this time for a different reason. You honestly think still that Penn State deserves to be ranked?
In the 20s, yes.
What have
In
they
the 20s.
done to justify being ranked? Beating Villanova?
Notre Dame was 0-2 and still.
No. I'm not asking about Notre Dame.
No,
I'm asking you about Penn State. You can't. Don't use every other team
If
as
they're
excuse.
number 24.
Hold on. What has Penn State done to justify being ranked in the top 25?
They beat the two teams the three teams that they were supposed to beat by big scores.
So
as they should have done.
They deserve to be ranked in the top 25 because they beat bad teams by high scores.
At 24, 25, absolutely, yes.
No. They had to have at least beat somebody. But they lost to the worst Power 4 team. They lost, not you, you're not on the team. They lost to the worst Power 4 team in an embarrassing fashion.
They also lost to another top 10 team by 3 points in overtime the week before.
Keyword there. They lost. You don't get credit for moral victories.
They're
lost.
3-2.
They have wins over Mr. Worldwide University.
Florida Worldwide.
They have a win over Villanova, who is this ain't college basketball. I mean, they beat Villanova in football, and they beat Nevada. If that's any other team with a different logo, they're laughing at that as a resume. There's no reason they should still be ranked. Now, if you want to talk about Notre Dame, yeah, they shouldn't be ranked either.
The thing that frustrates me the most about it is the fact that the AP poll, the AP voting, has been so egregiously bad this year. So egregiously bad.
Your girl, what's her name? Haley
Sawyer.
Haley Sawyer. Frank's girl, Haley Sawyer. Has Penn State ranked 24th. Hey, maybe she's on to something,
that.
Frank.
Even our very own Kirk Kenny. After Penn State lost. By the way, he still had an 0-2 Notre Dame, I believe, ranked in the top 10. Was he not?
Yeah, he did. Hey, they're still in the top 10, by the way, in his ballot.
A loss against Oregon for Penn State. His top 3 was Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. That was his top 3.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So, yes. So for Kirk Kenny now, and we saw his poll, he had Penn State still ranked. They should not have been where he put them. I believe he was 13.
He got him at 16. He's got Texas at 13.
Some of the insane things that the AP voters have done with this year's ballot. The fact that Penn State not only is out of the top 25, not only out of the top 25, but that Texas is ranked higher than them on the outside looking in is embarrassing. They should be at least 23. I'll give you 23, 24, 25. I'll give you that. If they lose again this week, they should not be in the top 25 the rest of the season.
Why do they get the benefit of the doubt over other schools that are 5-0 or 4-1 that actually have beaten teams that are? Why isn't Utah ranked?
Fair.
Utah's 4-1.
Fair.
Utah's 4-1, and their only loss is the Texas Tech, who's in the top 10.
Which is absolutely fair.
That's
they should be ranked.
Loss. They're unranked, right? Like, that should be a team that's ranked over Penn State.
Some of the teams that are out should not be out, and some of the teams that are in should not be in. And again, because we see the ballot every single week, it's disgusting how egregious some of these decisions are. Exactly. Why is 3-2 Notre Dame over a 5-0 BYU?
Agreed. It's egregious. Because of the logo they have, because they were good in the 70s and 80s. That's what the AP poll's been voting on for the last, I don't know how many years. The logo recognition from teams back when there wasn't a lot of games on television, and the ones that did have television deals get the benefit of the doubt in this day and age. I mean, somebody has Nebraska ranked. And not just somebody. There's multiple people that have Nebraska ranked for almost, maybe beating Michigan.
It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. But again, the justification, your justification for Penn State being ranked cannot be because, Notre Dame's ranked. No.
Solid losses, too. I mean, the loss to Oregon is a solid loss. That is a solid loss. That is a 3-point loss in overtime.
You said solid losses for a second.
Yes.
There is no justifying what happened against UCLA. I know you caught it.
There is no justifying what happened against UCLA. And I told you that at the time. I told you that when the top 25 came out. You cannot lose to UCLA. Period. Stop. You cannot lose to UCLA. It wasn't a blowout loss. It was a conference opponent. And again, you went to overtime against Oregon, who is a top 10 team, and lost by 3.
If Notre Dame and Texas were both unranked with Penn State, could you justify to me that Penn State deserved to be ranked still?
Most likely not, no.
No, you couldn't do it.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the resume says no. You flip that logo with anybody else, are they ranked? If Indiana had beaten FIU and Nevada and Villanova and lost close to Oregon and then lost to UCLA, are they ranked right now?
No,
and they're not.
No, and again, my thing is they were number 7 in the country going into this. You drop them from no one falls from the top 10 to out.
You do if you lose to lousy UCLA.
That? And also another indictment on the AP voters this year.
UCLA lost to New Mexico by 25 points.
Another indictment on the AP voters this year. You're 1-2 in the preseason.
Both out
before the halfway point of the season are both unranked.
Yep.
They have no clue what they're doing. No idea.
Best Penn State team coming back. Heisman hopeful and Drew Aller at quarterback. Spent a lot of money in the transfer portal. I mean, this was supposed to be like a great year, and the first 5 games are 3-2. And a loss to UCLA.
And I told you, I even said it after the Florida Worldwide game, Florida International, for those of you who don't know. I said it to you after that game, is that offense, if they're going to win anything, it's going to be because that defense is so good. Their offense has been firing. If it's a V8, they're firing on 2 cylinders right now. That offense has been so bad. It has looked awful all season. if they were going to win, it's going to be because of the defense. If the offense is what's holding Penn State back.
I want to talk about Diego Pavia real quick because we're about to run out of time. Diego Pavia, the starting quarterback for Vanderbilt, who had a petition to get another year of eligibility because he thought it was unfair. They went to JUCO first and it counted against his deal. Yada, 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 yada. Thought he was super sick before games. There's video of him practicing a kneel down and then celebrating a win over Alabama in the pregame against Alabama, which, by the way, if you do that on your own, and that's every week, all right, whatever, dude. It's kind of eyewash anyway, but it's on camera now. So he does that. They get their ass handed to them by Alabama because Alabama's better than Vanderbilt. And then he's getting ridiculed by the drunk Alabama fans. And now all of a sudden, and we're talking about paid college athletes, somebody has to say, hey, they're just kids. They're not kids anymore. They're not kids anymore. They're paid professionals. Diego Pavia is getting a check that's bigger than most people that are attending that game. He's not away from criticism. And by the way, it was all the S-talk about the game before the game, about how much better Vanderbilt was and how they were going to go into Tuscaloosa and win, and the practicing of the kneel down and then the celebratory ball throw in the air. Too much, man. Too much. Maybe I'll talk more about Diego Pavia tomorrow. AP poll, interesting every single week. It's just funny every single week. I can't believe we still rely on this thing to determine who's good in college football and who's not. Gwen and Chris are coming up next. Aftermath of the Padres season will be on our show tomorrow. Talk more NFL and college football as well. Get you some overreactions. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. See you guys tomorrow.